What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the Famliest of Fridays. And yes, welcome back, MCF and MCFers here in the chat again. Thanks for hanging with us as we, took a little family time and then some unexpected Rona time. Mr. MCF and I are both still very much under the weather and sick, but feeling good enough finally to be able to bring you an MCF show here once again.
Yeah, we were, family time here, family time in St. Louis, and
glad to be able to be back and talk about all the Dallas Cowboy things that we kind of missed out on.
Yeah, I just wanted to fill everyone in with family time was great, but unfortunately it was kind of slowed down a little bit because of COVID. Unfortunately, Father's Day, my big Father's Day gift was COVID. So there you go. I mean, the family did what they could. No one can, it is what it is. So got getting through the COVID. I'm a little ahead of schedule because that baby, of course, I gave it to you. So the kids don't have it, which is great. But the wife is, at the tail end of it. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule in the sense of tail end, only because I'm still lingering longer than she has. So we're kind of neck and neck right now, even though she had about 3 days break compared to me about, when it comes to the COVID thing. But it ain't fun for anybody. And appreciate those that know and that have been sending us wishes and all that good stuff. Appreciate you all. We'll go through all that stuff in this longer intro today since we haven't been around for about 9-10 days. But we got a lot to talk about. Not about us, but about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, and especially if you've been watching on the short side of things as well,
Yeah, the shorts are catching you up on all the news, info, and updates as well. And a couple little quick streams on the After Dark sessions, which we will be trying to do tonight. Or at least I will try to do a short After Dark late show tonight. So, hey, check it out if you do want to hang out for the overtime sessions. Anyways, baby, I'll let you handle the rest of this.
Yes, of course, we have people here on the board representing as always. So thank you very much to the sponsor of the week, McLovin, showing the love, not just the sponsor of the week, also representing as the Cash App King.
Oh, that's what I always say. Much love to McLovin. Thank you, sir. On the After Dark hours and sessions, and he's repping both of those boards once again. We got the man, though, skeptical fan who's in the news, so to speak.
Yes, have to give him some extra special shout outs because he was also showing lots of love during our little mini MCF absence here.
Yeah, so he's the man leading the Go ahead, baby.
The over everything, the stream boss.
Yeah.
Sorry, you started
stream
saying.
That's why I'm all off, baby. But yes,
so am I. But yes, he is bossing that stream around with 67 points there.
Yeah, much love to Skeptical Fan. And of course, Jason Renfro, who's been rocking the gifting board for 7 out of the last 8 weeks here. And really, we're talking, I mean, it's still, this is gonna be a double week, as you guys know, from last week. So we only had like one stream. So we're going to be doing a double stream. We're going to finish up and crown a champion this Sunday. So yes, we got here Fan Friday, you got Saturday, you got Sunday. We'll see how many streams we do. Going to try to squeeze in 3 here, but today's going to be the power-packed one. So you want to get your, your thoughts known. You want to get on the board. You want to try to take over. Here's your chance. Although I will say right now, Jet Li, I say Jason Renfro, it's Jet Li 44. He's right now at the end of the board here. He's 29th out of 29 people on this board. But and right now there is no gifting leader, even though he is the gifting champion, Jet Li 44. We've only had one MCF stream in 2 weeks. So this is our second one, and there's a chance for people to try to get on those boards or whatever it may be. So thank you guys, Mr. Jet Li on that side. And then when you look at who's winning the overall status right now, as well as the Cash App status, I mean, Skeptical Fan was in first place. He is in second place on the overall board. But when it comes to the overall board and the Cash App board, it is a huge Dallas Cowboy fan all the way from the other side of the globe, all the way from Australia, Trent M.
Ooh, shout out to you, Trent.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
He shut down a couple people on our After Dark sessions, and he has taken control of first place. He's up by about like 11, 12 over Skeptical Fan right now on the overall board. So that can change, but it's all being repped by the Cowboys right now, Cowboy fans, on all our current boards for this upcoming week. Of course, McLovin's a Dolphin fan, but hey, we don't got to talk about that. Trent M, he's in the lead. Now, baby, there's a lot of ways to drop the love here. Whether on the YouTube side, whether it's a super chat, of course, easy right there at the YouTube. You could do a thanks drop, which let me right now give big thanks to the man staying skeptical, because he did drop a pre-stream $2 holla.
Yes, he did, with a fruity Go Cowboys.
Whoa, we don't like that.
No. Oh, it has lemons and limes.
Lemons and limes are fine, but fruity's for the for the Eagles. Now, I will say this: when we talk about the man staying skeptical, he dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 $2 hollers in the thanks button side. Again, super chats is one way of dropping the love. The thanks button is another way of dropping the love. Also, Godless Manitoban also dropped a $5 Canadian holler for a little music request. It equals to about $3.70, but we got you. And he's on that board as well. Appreciate you. Also, Mr. Skeptical Fan also dropped the love through the PayPal. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I just wanted to catch up on those that have dropped, the love this past week. Also, when it comes to, memberships and things like this, you got Darren Posey, MJ Fowler, Roy Strasner, Alpha Male Pimp, The Lunatic, Troy Wimbish. All you guys are right back in the memberships that you guys, jump back in there, just like someone like Dwayne Broussard back in the star level membership as well. So thank you guys. Another way you can help out the channel through the YouTube side, not just super chats, not just thanks button, but also through the membership side of things, like I just named up everybody there: Tammy Soltis, Dwayne Broussard in the star level. So thank you all. And of course, in the After Dark sessions is also shout outs going to Daniel Berry, Harley Dad, Ginger Bella, B-Daz, who went through the Venmo. We'll talk about that in a minute. We got Dark Raven, Sco971, Raider Rob, Trent M, like I said, and Dave B in the place to be. So thank you all for the love for this entire week. And Grateful Nomad, of course, as well. So thank you all for the love for the entire week and a half we've been gone. So, keeping us afloat on this side of things. But we will be, of course, giving you the lowdown on other ways of dropping the love. Like I said, super chats, the thanks button. You can jump in the membership. You can also gift memberships. Like I said, no one's gifted membership so far. So that board is definitely, available there for anyone, as every board is here. And then there's also 4 ways you can do this. A lot of the After Dark people, they go this way, they drop the love this way, but there's 4 ways outside of YouTube you can drop the love, and Trent M is on top of that board right now. How are those 4 ways, my love?
You have, of course, the Cash App, # MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat does.
Yeah, I know we have a Venmo in there somewhere too. I mean, there it is. Yeah, actually, that's like the second time we had a drop in there over this last week. So thank you guys for all the love there. B-Daz, I think, dropped it there. Thank you all for the love on that side of things. Of course, we also got to show the love back and shout people out who are in the different levels of membership here. And, I'm going to actually say big shout out to those in the it is a Fan Friday, a double
Yes.
Fan Friday, I guess you can say. But we got to shout out those that are, in the
So double the shout outs.
yeah, the star level and over everything level memberships. Although right now, over everything is empty. We still got a bunch of star level representation. And in a Fan Friday, we also shout out those in the silver level as well. Of course, you guys know there's a monthly jersey raffle. Congrats to the last winner. It's been a while. It was last week, but I forgot who it was. It was on Tuesday we did it. But congrats to you guys who have won on this level. And I think it was McLovin or someone. Either way, or Marco Seppian. But appreciate you guys. Mark won. Yeah, so thank you guys. Oh, he's repping away from Hawaii. That's star over everything. But that's just the monthly jersey raffle. Of course, another one on the way at the end of this month of June. And that's a couple of weeks away. So you can still get back into that if you get into any of those levels. If you are a winner, a weekly winner, you're also entered into this raffle as well. But it is a Fan Friday, and we shout out that silver level memberships, the star level, and of course, when there's over everything, we shout them out too. So, baby, who are all the people in all those levels?
Huge shout out to Mr. A. Lavelle. Of course, you also have Skeptical Fan, staying skeptical, Jet Li 44, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog.
Back in it, by the way.
LC, Marissa Sparkle, and much love to the man, the Lunatic.
The man, the Godfather, the Lunatic in the house. Thank you all for the love and the support on all these different fronts. Yes, it's a long intro. Too bad. It has been a long time we've been on here. We have not been on, so we got to give the proper shout-outs as we always do. Start with the family first here on MCF. So, hopefully I don't lose my voice tonight. There is a lot of stuff to discuss and talk, and I'll be doing most of the talking. The wife will be doing the talking in the chat.
And I'll also be doing my best to maybe, if I can help you out with some of the quote or talking portions. I'll always do my best to.
Of course, the wife is always on top of it. But again, you guys in the chat dropping your knowledge, any kind of comments, we'll try to catch a couple. The wife will read them out, and you know how we do. So thank you all on that side. And again, hopefully we see some of you guys on the After Dark Fun special, since I'll be back on there for probably the first time in a while. That I can actually announce it on this side of the channel.
Yes.
Anyways, maybe it's time for those shout outs. Who's in the house right now?
And with the interest of preserving your voice, right? Thank you. Shout out to Orion Files. Hello and hi. We have Mike Aldana. Much love. Even you, Leaside Herald. Nice try. Raul representing. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Happy Friday to you and yours as well. Revelation Journalist. What's up? Esmodius. Salute to you as well. We have Brandon J representing, the Celtics. Oh, man.
Yeah.
We're trust me, we have a few things to touch on, right? Double R, shout out to you as well. Godless Manitoban, thanks for hanging with us. Skeptical Fan always. Stay skeptical, much love. Mr. Seabass, I think Jerry's, if he did have a jersey number with the Cowboys, it would be 00. Let him match with his best buddy.
Yeah. Him and Rowdy can walk out the building.
Right.
Together.
The Cowboy mascots. Oh, let me see. Kind of rolling back. Freedom First looks like he was first in the house. Shout out to you. And as more people trickle in, I'll make sure to give them their proper shout outs and due.
Yeah, people probably forgot about us because we've been gone for so long. But hey, guess what? We're back. Anyway, as everyone trickles in and the numbers get going, and we'll try to catch up on as much stuff as possible. If you miss it, you're gonna have to replay it. It's just the way it is gonna be today. It's gonna have to be that way. Now, just to quickly touch on a non-NFL thing. Yeah, unfortunately, the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Mavs, took an L, the fourth L out of 5 games there, and lost 4-1 against the I hate the Boston Celtics, but the Boston Celtics won their championship, beat Dallas and Luka and Kyrie and all them, and hopefully they'll do better next year. But they got there, something that we haven't done in almost 30 years. We haven't even got to the conference championship, so congrats to the Mavs for going that far. I mean, they won the championship, a little over a decade ago, 15 years ago or so.
Congrats to the Celtics, the winners.
Anyways, and I do want to shout out a couple holidays we missed here. First off, Juneteenth. Much love to those. I mean, we all are celebrating Juneteenth. It's a very important day in America. The Cowboys released a statement saying today we celebrate, well, this is, of course, yesterday. And they said today we celebrate freedom. Juneteenth is a day to reflect, educate, and commemorate. So, yes, very much so, and big-time shout-out and a happy Juneteenth to all. Now, also, of course, on Sunday was Father's Day. Yes, I was sick with COVID, laid out for pretty much quarantine, so not the best Father's Day for all MCF, but did the best we can with it. And, so did the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, with his father, Nathaniel Prescott, they had a Father's Day crawfish boil. Now, this was done like last week, not this Sunday. I think this Sunday is other stuff he had plans for, I guess, Dak Prescott, like Tight End University. We'll talk about that. But he did have Father's Day, and his first Father's Day. This is Dak's first Father's Day, right? So
as a dad.
Yeah, so now, he was celebrating Father's Day as a dad, and with his dad, Nathaniel Prescott, on this crawfish boil with meat church, which was a lot of fun. He had Zeke, Zeke was running around eating food like just left and right. Like he was just like his spoon fed, like that's, he's his old style of doing things there. He was practicing, I guess, for the season with the crawfish.
With 2 spoons.
Yeah, 2 spoons for sure. He's getting help from his right now Dak's starting center, Brock Hoffman, pulling up the broil, after they kind of boil them up there and then move them to another pot to drain it. They needed a big offensive lineman. Dak said, let me get Brock over here. Brock Hoffman was there. Ezekiel Elliott was there. Cooper Rush was there. Chuma Adoga was there. Damone Clark was there. And many others were there.
It's actually really nice that he did that.
Good family fun with his dad and him being, as Dak celebrating his first official Father's Day as a father. So congrats to him on that. Micah Parsons said, quote, he also was celebrating Father's Day. I mean, he had pictures out there, him and his kids, having a great time. He said, quote, "Happy Father's Day to all. Every day learn. It's a privilege to be able to raise your kids. Do not take that blessing for granted." Agreed?
Very true.
Second that, and
I love that
Happy
the Cowboys
Father's Day.
brand has now become, being
dads.
good dads and, being open about being an active dad. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah. Great stuff there. The camaraderie, the love there, and, maybe the maturity on the Cowboy team, the players. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to hit up a couple of these things that, some of our guys were doing out there in the last couple of weeks here. Micah Parsons, he just kicked off last week his Lions Den. It's a youth football camp. He has multiple camps throughout Texas. I think he kicked it off in El Paso, Texas. I put up some videos up there if you guys want to see what he was doing, having some fun with the kids and teaching them and learning and just doing good stuff there with the community. It was the first of 5 dates that Micah had for this youth football camp he has, and the last one actually goes all the way to Pennsylvania. Yeah, it ends in State
back in the home state.
State College, 6 minutes from Penn State is where he's gonna do his last one. I think he had one today as well. In Midland, Texas, he had one. That was a couple days ago. He had an interception. He had He did a one-on-one kind of coverage thing. Got a pick, and was celebrating as Micah always celebrates. Even with the little kids, he's celebrating like he won the Super Bowl. So he was doing that one in Midland, Texas. He had one today, having a lot of fun. Very amazed by some of the moves, some of these young kids. He had that one in Frisco. So he's all over Dallas, all over Texas, and also of course going to, like I said, end his last 5th camp in State College, PA, 6 minutes from Penn State. You guys want info on that? You can visit Lions Den by Micah on Instagram. Anyways, good stuff from our guys, from our leaders, our main guys.
Yeah.
And then at the Star in Frisco, a really interesting, fun, nice thing the Cowboy organization did, and that was basically having kids of incarcerated parents running drills with Dallas Cowboy players. At the Star in Frisco, children received free shirts and Nike shoes before working with the professionals, with the pros. Over 300 kids, ages 7 to 17, that have parents that are, of incarcerated adults, were joined by their guardians on Sunday afternoon at the Ford Center, at the field there, Ford Center, to practice their football skills with the Cowboy players and some of the staff. This was on Sunday. I think it was last Sunday. It was a week before Father's Day. But this camp was the 4th collaboration between the team and something called the Prison Fellowship, which is a nonprofit that works with children and families of incarcerated adults through the Angel Tree program. This is a thing that John Fossil Bones has been doing wherever he's been. He's been working with the Cowboys for 6 years. Well, I mean, he's been working with this Angel Tree organization program for 6 years. He began this back when when he was at the Rams. And he collaborated with Prison Fellowship when he worked with the Rams and continued this relationship when he moved to Dallas. The 12 Cowboy players, kind of standing there with Fossil, spoke about hard work, determination, and how grateful they were to participate in this camp, helping these kids.
Again, that is, one of those things that, I really like to see. These are the types of activities that our team is involved in during the offseason so far, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And some of the guys that were there, well, younger guys. Good to see something. You get some veterans like C.J. Goodwin. Not the biggest name guys, but still known guys, and a bunch of rookies like Cooper Beebe.
Oh,
in the mix there, teaching them kids.
We'd love to see that.
Cooper Beebe in coverage, interesting. And then you had, a receiver there, Corey Crooms, kind of playing defensive back with some kids there. So good stuff. A great thing there the Cowboy organization does and the players do as well. Now, a little bit of sad news coming from Michael Irvin's side of things. This was unfortunately, during the Dallas Mavericks, finals. Michael Irvin's trying to open up his new kind of restaurant bar. I think it's called Playmakers or Playmaker 88. The point is that during the opening, and he kind of announced a couple of things. He did mention that his wife Sandy, who is currently 58 years old, is suffering from early onset Alzheimer's, and that's kind of shocking. You're thinking 58 years old, that's not that old. So he revealed that his wife, 58 years old, Sandy, has early onset Alzheimer's, been dealing with this disease for already 5 or 6 years. So it's like she's 52 years old, guys. 53 years old. She's been having Alzheimer's, and she had trouble walking and speaking currently right now, unfortunately, and requires 24-hour care with basically a live-in caretaker. And Michael Irvin said he has no intentions of putting her into a nursing home of any sort, no matter the cost. Of course, you can afford it. But it's a horrible thing to have to go through. And he said, "quote If anyone has earned the right to stay in her house, my wife has." He said this in an exclusive interview he had during his opening of his bar. He said, "quote That I shall honor no matter what it takes." Now remember, they met in college with Miami Hurricanes in Miami. Been together for 39 years, married for 34 of those years. He said basically this in an impromptu announcement that came largely because of his sentiments toward his new restaurant endeavor. This NBA Finals between the Mavericks and the Celtics had a soft opening for his new sports bar called Playmakers 88. I like how you put Playmakers 88 because that's all the 88s. Yeah. Drew Pearson, Dez, of course, the playmaker himself, Michael Irvin. Yeah, but he's the playmaker, right? But 88 playmakers. It means you guys that go there, the other 88s represented. Cool name there. He said he's celebrating Father's Day in that way. That was kind of the soft opening during the playoffs. Unfortunately, through the finals. Unfortunately, the Mavs, of course, lost that game, and of course, eventually lost the series. But just a little last thing here for Michael Irvin and his wife, 58 years old. Right now, the average life expectancy for an individual diagnosed with late onset Alzheimer's is between 8 and 12 years. But it is believed that when someone like Sandy, his wife, with early onset Alzheimer's, when it basically has a more aggressive disease in this situation, and it progresses faster. So it's not a good sign. We don't know how many years she has, but if you have late onset, it's 8 to 12 years. You gotta figure it's probably like 4 to 6 years maybe she has left, or as close to I don't know, or less. But it's not good at all. He has the money to
provide the best possible care for her, and again, it's really lovely to see him sticking by her and taking care of her the way that you would imagine any of us would want to be taken care of.
Just the way he should, the way he should, and get to hear that side of Michael Irvin, coming through. But man, what a sad situation there. Now,
I agree.
Jerry Jones wasn't completely quiet. Not completely. He was mostly quiet this entire 10 days, but not completely quiet because Jerry Jones had a little court date, and it has nothing to do with what you guys may have thought it might have to do with one of his paternity tests or one of his issues like that. He's actually speaking at right now. The NFL is getting sued, by for the NFL direct ticket, the Sunday ticket situation. We talked about this the other day. Goodell kind of like walking around saying, "Why is everybody here today?" He was walking to court, saying, is it football season yet? Why is everybody out here? Jerry Jones was under oath. And he took kind of a weird random shot, I guess you can say, at the Cincinnati Bengals while he was testifying about the Sunday ticket trial. He said, quote, "I am convinced that I would make a lot more money than the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm completely against each team doing TV deals. It is flawed." Now, that was Jerry Jones, and that's a quote. Now, he is accurate about his comment as far as the money-making side of things. And, of course, Cowboys bringing a lot more money than the Bengals ever will. The value of because they want to do kind of a team-by-team kind of basis thing. So while he is accurate that the Cowboys will make a lot more money than the Bengals. And if you were to do a kind of a Sunday ticket, for only the team you want to see.
Yeah, like of course the Cowboys would probably dominate the market themselves. Yeah. And I just personal opinion, I imagine that Jerry wants a bit more competition within the NFL because whether you love the Cowboys or you fucking hate the Cowboys, guess what you're doing? You're watching, or you're gonna see your team at AT&T Stadium, or there's always a way for Jerry to win. And this seems like he wants to help the entire NFL and not just like a one-team thing.
Well, I don't know about... Again, I know you're saying I think it's the opposite for him, though, because I think he's like saying, I want this because we will bring in more money. I want to bring in more money.
True.
And you still will split it up over the 32 teams. It's not going to be like Jerry's keeping it all. It's going to be... He believes if you do it team by team, the Bengals will bring in much less money, and then that will give the NFL more money by splitting it 32 ways. So... I think that's what he's trying to say, but it was, in a way, some people are thinking it was unnecessary to single out the Bengals. Although, like I talked to my brother about this, the Bengals have the hardest time, selling out for some reason before their deadlines, whatever that reason may be. And, so that's probably why he picked on the Bengals in that sense.
Or used them as an example.
He could have just said, we could make more money than any other team, which is also factual. But, again, Jerry Jones, he's always going to, going to be touting the Dallas Cowboys and the star over everything for the money-making side of things. And again, Cowboys been thriving in a very long, for a very long time, unlike the Bengals ever really have. Is this harsh? I don't know. I mean, it's facts, but he didn't have to single out the Bengals.
Maybe the Bengals owner did piss him off in another meeting.
Something's going on. Yeah, something pissed him off about the Bengals. But to be fair, again, Jerry's point is not wrong. All right, of course. You said it. You said that. You said it yourself. When you look at the Forbes rankings last year, the Cowboys are the most valuable team in the NFL and really in the world. When you're just looking at the Bengals and the Cowboys in the NFL, Cowboys are number one, of course, in the world, but also in the NFL. The Bengals are last in the NFL when it comes to
another reason. Maybe he used them as an example.
Very true. Cowboys are valued at over $9 billion. The Bengals is. What people call an embarrassing $3.5 billion.
The horror.
So little money. But $3.5 billion versus $9+ billion. Jerry Jones let me break in that money. And he's willing to split it up or whatever, but he gets power off of that. And that's what Jerry loves.
Yeah, like even if every team has to give up like a certain percentage of their individual stream sales or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Jerry's still going to be winning and making money hand over fist.
Yep. He'll always be raking it in.
Yeah, and take it easy, Skeptical fan. Have a great night. Much love.
Yes, have a good night. Sorry for the late start, guys. It's been a rough 10 days and we're catching up. So hopefully some people want to watch us on the replay. We'll try to get through this stream as fast as possible.
Yeah, and Double R, I agree. He said, why fuck up something that's worked? Just leave the TV thing alone. Good grief. I'm sad. It's always about those dead presidents. Oh, yeah, especially because if you have the NFL Red Zone Sunday ticket through YouTube, you probably also got that email within the last day or two saying, hey, friendly reminder, we're going to charge you in about 2 months. So, anyway, back to you, my love.
On top of that, I mean, it's just the fact that if the NFL wants to make more money as a whole, they would do this and let a team-by-team kind of a situation happen there. But, yeah, it sounds like the NFL, or at least the other teams don't want to be kind of like the singled out lowest, worst looking team that's least wanted. Who knows? That may end up being an eventual folded team or selling your team, kind of situation. So they'd rather just make it even across the board. Most of these teams, the higher value teams like the Cowboys, they'd rather just say, hey, go through a team by team basis, and then you can add it all up, and the whole league can make more money together. But I guess they make enough. I don't know. Do they ever make enough though? No, obviously no. Now, let's get back out of that side of things and get into more into the NFL side of things, because we had some information come out from the NFL about the tampering results from the Falcons and the Eagles during their free agent moves there on some players. The Falcons received penalties for tampering. The NFL informed the Falcons that the discipline being imposed are for violations of the anti-tampering policy related to improper contact with, at the time, prospective unrestricted free agents Kirk Cousins, which we knew that was one of the guys, but it was also Darnell Mooney and Charlie Warner. Just straight, why would they go hard on those guys and breaking this rule? during this 2-day negotiating period that we know we always have that, right? When free agency don't start till Wednesday, but that Monday, Tuesday, you can still talk to the,
conversations can be had, even if,
you can't make any deals. Well, Atlanta, because of I guess, breaking those rules, forfeiting their original 5th-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. They're also paying a fine of $250,000. The GM, Terry Fontenot, has been fined $50,000. While the policy permits clubs to engage and negotiate in all aspects of an NFL player contract, with the certified agent of any prospective unrestricted free agent during that 2-day period, any direct contact, the team cannot talk with the player, you can only talk with the agent. Any direct contact between player and employee or representative of the club is prohibited. Obviously, the Falcons broke this rule with these 3 players. It includes discussions of travel arrangements and other logistical matters, which the Falcons acknowledged did take place with regard to those 3 players I just mentioned. So, Kirk Cousins, the leader of that group there. So, the key part of the findings was that the violations have occurred during that 2-day negotiating window, and it didn't happen before it opened. But because it happened in that window, it actually is less of a penalty than some other teams have had in the past.
Yeah, it's not like they tried to negotiate outside of a negotiation period. They just did negotiations they weren't supposed to within that negotiation period.
Right. So some teams will jump the gun before that, and they'll get a more stiffer penalty. They got a light penalty in this, lost their 5th-round pick and got fined basically about $300,000 to the entire team combined. But this is what the Falcons paid for at the quarterback position this offseason. All right, they paid a 4-year deal worth $180 million for Kirk Cousins. Then they used their 1st-round pick of 2024. I mean, their early top 10 pick for Michael Penix Jr. And now they lost the 2025 5th-round pick related to that tampering of Kirk Cousins and the other 2 players. So,
a lot of loss investment there in your QB position in general.
Yeah,
right?
For now and the future, a lot of loss there. Money, contracts, penalties, draft picks. Yeah, using your draft pick, a lot of it. Now the Eagles are the other team. Those effing Eagles. They did not get any penalties, guys, for tampering with or suspected tampering of Saquon Barkley. After a thorough review by the NFL. Of the looking into the Eagles signing of Saquon Barkley, NFL informed everyone that the investigation did not discover sufficient evidence to support that the anti-tampering policy was violated. So, basically coming to this conclusion, the league reviewed phone logs, text messages, and other documents related to the Eagles' free agency strategy and decision to sign Barkley. The NFL also interviewed several members of the organization, including Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, as well as Saquon Barkley, Penn State coach James Franklin. You can't go through other people, right? So, again, as with every review, if any new evidence was uncovered, if any new evidence is eventually uncovered, then they're going to have to reopen the league can reopen.
Review.
They can reopen this investigation. But as of right now, the Eagles, they skip by without any penalties. Once again, Howie Roseman doing his thing. So, now, speaking of NFL Players Association, the union there, NFL informed the NFLPA of some key dates for 2025 for next year. In the memo, so next year, February 18th to March 4th, is that window to tag, to basically franchise tag and transition tag players.
Okay.
So it's February 18th to March 4th. We're not going to remember that. March 12th is the new league year. So March 10th is that 2-day tampering
date.
Yeah, you have the March 10th to the 12th, and then the 12th you can now officially sign guys, starting, of course, next year. And on April 24th to the 26th, official dates of the draft been announced. So April 24th, 25, and 26th. In 2025, it will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which we knew that already, of course, as well. Now, they also said that off-season workout programs for next year, remain on the calendar. Okay. There's some discussion about the players wanting to get rid of some of that stuff, but they're still subject to potential talks of an overhaul of this off-season kind of OTAs and all these things. Teams with new coaches can begin on April 7th, and other teams have to be, any other team with we might be one of those teams. We can start April 7th when it comes to the workout program if we don't have McCarthy in there. But teams that have their same coaches have to start 2 weeks later on April 21st. And the NFL also informed the NFL players that it has finalized their rules for designating players for return from injured reserve for this year in 2024, a maximum of 8 total designations during the season. Or you can go up to 10, including the playoffs. So we'll see how this goes. You cannot just put somebody on injured. You can't just put 20 guys on injured reserve for 8 weeks. It has to be a maximum of 8 in the regular season. You get 2 more extra little dates there in the playoffs if you do have someone that went on IR, a short-term IR, and let's say the end of the year, and but you get them back for the conference championship game. You can do that still, but only 2 times for those guys. So anyway, just a quick little kind of housekeeping there from the NFL. Now, Hard Knocks. For the first time, Hard Knocks in season, they announced which division they pick in, and they're picking the AFC North.
Huh.
Yeah, it's going to debut on Tuesday, December 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on HBO. You can stream it on, Max. And they will air every single Tuesday throughout the end of the NFL regular season and will continue into the NFL playoffs. Through January.
If any of the teams
one of them's going to make it. Yeah, one of them's going to make it because the conference champion, the division winner will make it. But as far as they go, they'll continue their show. And it's going to run through January 2025, of course. So December 3rd into late January 2025, you'll probably see, Hard Knocks, the in-season version. Following, of course, like I said, guys, the AFC North. And those teams, of course, if you guys don't know, the Ravens, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Bengals. Those are the teams they'll be watching there in the NFC North. Now,
honestly, I think they did a good job picking that division.
There's going to be a couple good teams in there, and, some will be making a run in the playoffs, like the Ravens for sure.
3 of the 4 teams are very interesting, and 2 of those 4 are AFC Championship competitive level teams.
Yeah,
and the Steelers are still a competitive team.
Playoff
caliber team.
To me, the Browns and Steelers.
Can't discount the Browns either.
Yeah, Browns and Steelers are still decent enough to be in the mix. I think, of course, the Bengals will be in the mix depending on injuries, and of course the Ravens. We know they will be in the mix.
And I think they also have enough to offer for maybe non-fans of the AFC North, or even just fans of another team. So
now, one of those teams, the Ravens, announced they're going to have a new alternate. A purple alternate helmet this year.
Cool.
So it's going to be a purple helmet with their other kind of, not their official logo, not their official Ravens logo, but it's kind of their alternate logo. They're going to have that on the side of the helmet. It's kind of the bird looking at you, the raven looking right at you. The bird up. So they're going to wear that helmet for only one game this season. But yeah, they're going to be leaning into their own colors and using their alternate logo, which is kind of interesting to do that as well as an alt, I guess, here. Now, let's get to the players. This is interesting to me. Aaron Rodgers, we talked about him missing mandatory minicamp, taking the fines. He said he had a previous event that is very important to him. He never said what it was, but we know what it is now. Aaron Rodgers was away on an ayahuasca retreat.
Oh boy!
Yeah, he was getting high and sweating it out in a teepee somewhere. Instead of attending mandatory minicamp, now he spent some of the time at the same retreat. I'm sorry, at a different retreat, the same ayahuasca retreat, but at a different location, and that was in Costa Rica in March. So he went in March. He said, let me go do it again, clear my mind here in June during minicamp. So hey, that's up to him and the Jets. I'm sure they're not ecstatic about that.
I was going to say, couldn't he have gone during not mandatory minicamp?
I don't know. I guess he just said.
I guess not.
He wanted it. That's his mandatory minicamp for him, I guess. Also, you got guys like Hassan Reddick from the Jets, who I think was in Japan doing some kind of cosplay thing, and he took heat for that. That's fine, but both guys should get the same amount of heat for that kind of situation. But either way, it's not the Cowboys, so whatever. But Hassan Reddick not happy at all with the Jets. They haven't even communicated after being traded from the Eagles. Now, as we keep going, you talk about the Steelers. The Steelers waived wide receiver Denzel Mims. He's a former Jets second-round pick that had been with the Steelers since last October, but on their practice squad. Didn't work out. They cut him. And then a day later, the Jacksonville Jaguars picked him up. So he's immediately been picked up, and now Denzel Mims is with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some other player information out there floating around, mixing and matching here, but Brandon Ayuk, who's going to be playing with the Niners this year, but sounds like they don't want to keep him too much longer. He was on a video chat with Jaden Daniels from the Washington Commanders, the rookie quarterback. And Ayuk just posted this on TikTok as he was talking to Jaden Daniels. Daniels like, what happened, bro? Because he was kind of upset. And he's like, they said they don't want me back, I swear. Referring to the Niners. So it sounds like the Niners are not going to pay Ayuk whatever he may want. Maybe looking to trade him. Maybe Ayuk's looking to get with the Commanders, to get with his buddy there. So we'll see what happens there.
Point is, it sounds like they're going to part ways.
Yeah, they're not fun. They're not having fun with each other there. Then you have the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, T. Higgins, and they were on this, kind of like this standstill. He was franchise tagged, and he wanted to get a longer deal. He officially signed that 1-year franchise tag tender of $21.8 million, and he said, quote, I'm excited to move forward. Now, that means that, is there a chance he can get a deal still? Maybe, but as of right now, it sounds like he is going to be, looking to get out of there after this season for T. Higgins and the Bengals. Now, this is one that's going to really piss at least some of you guys off, because it pissed me off. Because I said this multiple times, one of the biggest guys, in my opinion, that could help the Cowboys at defensive tackle is Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell is now off the market. So I'm like, all right, what happened? 6-time Pro Bowl, Calais Campbell. Again, he's not what he used to be, but he's still good. He helped the Falcons last year be one of the better run-stopping teams on the interior. He signed with the Dolphins last week. And today, he's turning 38 in September, so he's older. He's playing at a high level, though, guys. He's entering his 17th year. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler, but he's still
performing well. Yeah.
He's not a pass rusher anymore, but he's a run-stopping master still. So I was thinking, how much is going to cost them for someone who's already older and no one really looking for him? It looks like. I mean, I wish the Cowboys would have taken a look at him, and especially now because they released his numbers, guys. Calais Campbell, he signed a veteran minimum contract. This is exactly what the Cowboys love to do. They must just not have been interested in him at all. They just want to go with Mozzie and the other guys behind him, which are undrafteds and lessers. So instead of getting a guy who could really help this young defensive tackle room, Calais Campbell is now with Miami, and he would have gotten $1.21 million. And again, that's what it would have been hit on. That basically, it would have been like $1.5 million on the cap, because he got another $790,000 signing bonus. That is basically the least you can get him for. That's basically the least you can sign Calais Campbell for. That is a steal, without question, for the Dolphins. The Cowboys had that option. They could have paid just a drop more and gotten him. Why not?
It is frustrating to me, because it's not like it wasn't a position of need. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that blows my mind. And
it's a young position.
Every single one of the criteria that the Cowboys want, including the fact that this guy was basically $10.
It's right? Incredible.
Veteran minimum for him, it is the football equivalent of a $10 meal.
So as we get cash money from the Michael Gallup deal on June 1st, we haven't used much of it. We used a little bit. I'll tell you 3 guys we signed. But none of these 3 guys would have equaled to what the impact that Calais Campbell would have equaled on this team. And we would have gotten him for basically the same money as these other guys. I'll explain in a minute. But it's sad. Calais Campbell, $1.2 million veteran minimum salary and $790,000 signing bonus. That's the cheapest you can get him for. Cowboys passed on him. They weren't even interested in him. And that's why, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it, and some of you guys don't like it, but too bad, because that's why our front office is the clown show. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. The clowns are around, and they haven't left the building, and they're not leaving anytime soon.
If anything, they're even more down to clown now than they were before.
They might even be clowny enough to do this move, a move that may be coming on the horizon, with Isaiah Buggs. Now, I was a big proponent of this guy. Hey, let's bring him in. Is he a free agent? I know he's with the Chiefs last we heard, and he jumped on with them when the Lions released him. The Chargers, I don't know. So one of these teams released him. We just let him go. I think he was released again, picked up by the Chiefs. Oh, there we go. We got IJ Flex 16 in the house. Welcome to the family.
I thought it was LJ.
LJ
16.
Felix. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. COVID.
Okay. But thank you for summing it up. Yes. Appreciate you. Much
Welcome
love.
to the family. And Skeptical, the 66 points on the stream boss. Still hanging on with that green at the top of the board. Now,
Tyrone Church did say defensive tackle Brian Mott is a legit one-tech, and he's only around $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, guys, everybody's the veteran. So, unless you got a bigger name, I'm surprised Calais Campbell went for so much. But everybody right now is cheap. I think the Cowboys are going to stay with our own guys, the undrafteds, the Mozzie Smith. That's it. And we got
get cheaper than that.
And the rookie. We got the last pick was a rookie. Those are the guys. The Mozzie, the rookie, and the undrafted rookie. Those are our 3 defensive tackles. And if we bring another guy in, it's going to be the veteran minimum. So at this point, why not go for a guy who can help teach these guys? Like a Calais Campbell. It makes no fucking sense to me.
Exactly.
But it's the front office. It's the clown show. And no matter who we bring in, it ain't going to be the intelligence that Calais Campbell brings with him. Anyways.
No, I agree.
So, but like an Isaiah Buggs, I was interested in him. I'm like, the Cowboys maybe can make a move, or they're going to eventually cut him probably. They still have him on their team. But I don't know for how long after what just came out. So Isaiah Buggs has been arrested. We knew he got arrested for, was it leaving dogs in his porch for
backyard?
Yeah, and they were like, one had to be put down. He basically, just left him there to die. So he was in trouble with that. He got arrested a second time now. Second time in a month's worth of time. He was booked this time on domestic violence and burglary in Alabama. This happened on Sunday morning of this week, I think. He was released according to online records, but the recent arrest of Isaiah Buggs, Chiefs defensive tackle, it happened because he allegedly broke into the apartment of the mother of his child with a tire iron and then dragged her down the staircase. So
wonderful.
Yeah, maybe we're not going to get Isaiah, or maybe we will now.
I was going to say, Tyron Church said it. He has a troubled history. Sounds like a Cowboy pick.
Shit. I mean, he's going to be the same price as Calais Campbell. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, why? You're actually putting down the intelligence of the room. You're risking more with a guy who's losing it here than a Calais Campbell who could really focus on helping the young guys. But it is the front office. It is the clown show.
And very cool, Eduardo. He said Dak Prescott and Jalen Moreno were in California at the Fresno County All-Star Game today.
That's awesome. Hey, that is great. Yeah, he must have took a little break from the tight end university thing that kind of wrapped up, I think, yesterday. So, yeah, he's still chilling out there. Now, former Cowboy and Dolphin free agent, center. For us, he was a guard. He's a center from Miami. But he had a lot of injuries issues. That was Connor Williams. Connor Williams, coming off that season-ending knee surgery, expected to be ready for the start of the season. And currently, right now, is in discussions with multiple teams of where to play in 2024. And he said he plans to pick his new team before training camp begins. But I'm going to reiterate this. Trust me when I say this, the Cowboys are not going to pick him up. They usually don't pick up our retread guys. We don't bring back guys to this team. And we have, of course, right now, Brock Hoffman, the starter. We got TJ Bass, who can play center. He's getting some snaps in there. And, of course, Cooper Beebe, which we're hoping will be the starting center for the Cowboys rookie from the 3rd round. So we'll see what comes from that. But just want to throw in the Connor Williams update. Former Broncos, standout running back, a guy that I've talked about a lot here, a guy that I said we could trade for, Javonte Williams, appears to be on the roster bubble. And according to multiple sources, he should soon be released before the season at least. So when the cuts start coming and you see Williams out there, don't be surprised if we pick him up to kind of see if we need another running back in the mix. Although, at this point, I'll be surprised if the Cowboys sign anybody that's not from the USFL. So, I'm sorry, the UFL, not the USFL. So right now, guys, Javonte Williams, a guy who had some good years there in Denver, sounded like he's going to be released. Now, he struggled last year coming off an ACL tear, but he's a former second-round pick, has shown his talent when he was healthy. So if you have a running back by committee, can the Cowboys pick him up if he's released? Keep an eye on Javonte Williams from the Broncos. The word is he will be released soon. We'll see what happens.
By the way, Seabass is asking for a quick clarifying question.
Sure.
Is Dalvin Cook a Jet still or a free agent? I keep hearing his name again lately, and
he's a free agent. He's a
thought
free
that
agent.
we were off of him.
He's a free agent. Dalvin Cook is a free agent. Cowboys have no interest in him as of right now. They have no interest in him. So don't. I would say you can maybe count on a recently injured guy over a Dalvin Cook. When it comes to the Cowboys, they're not going to pay for the name of Dalvin Cook. They'd rather pay for a guy who maybe could be a Dalvin Cook type guy. They're never going to be like him, but like has the Cook flavor with the torn ACL from last year. That's the Cowboy style. So I would say Williams probably a better chance of getting signed if he gets released than Dalvin Cook, who's still a free agent currently. So he's not with the Jets right now. He's a free agent. Now, as we finishing up this NFL news, because we got a lot of it, right? Here's one that really, really impacts. All these impact the Cowboys, as I said, Calvin. Whether it's Calais Campbell or Isaiah Buggs or former Cowboy guy, Connor Williams or Javonte Williams, running back, quarterbacks. We're gonna kind of wrap it up at the quarterback spot here. And now we're hearing rumors of a quarterback salary cap. We talked about this in the past, possibly being an option. It's being discussed by some NFL owners now due to how rapidly the quarterback contracts are growing and growing. This is per Tom Pelissero and Rich Eisen. Basically, there's been discussions within the league among certain owners about even the idea of having this kind of quarterback cap. So there's definitely discussions going on, guys. But at some point, you don't. The way they're seeing it is at some point you don't want the quarterbacks, the quarterback numbers, the contracts, to go over a certain percentage of your salary cap. They want to kind of keep that on its own thing. So
so it sounds like they're gonna talk and discuss what that percentage can reasonably look like, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now, but right now, according to Tom Pelissero and many others, even though there's discussions, it has not gained any real traction. So do not expect salary cap for only quarterbacks right now. And in part because so many teams have already paid their quarterbacks. The big name guys.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, teams have other things to figure out. By the time you get to that question, it feels like you're
well, but okay. It's more about the teams that have the big name quarterbacks need to be assigned. Mm-hmm. Leaves falling. More guys getting signed. And like you guys know, the last day of our stream, the next day, another leaf fell, and that was the Jacksonville Jaguars went and paid the big. This contract stuff, for this salary cap stuff for quarterbacks has decreased in popularity with the owners because all the top quarterbacks are signed already.
Yeah.
So now another one off the board. Not Dak. Not the front office of ours. Not the clown show. They're not worried about Dak right now. They're watching Trevor Lawrence getting signed to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We usually say these don't affect Dak. This one does. Sources we know already have confirmed that the former number one pick got a 5-year extension worth $275 million. It equals $55 million per year. And $200 million in guaranteed money, $142 fully guaranteed. I mean, a blockbuster deal for Trevor Lawrence. His contract is right up alongside Joe Burrow as the tops in the NFL, and it's going to be a huge benchmark for future quarterbacks looking to bring in that money, the bag. Highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now on a per-year basis, Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow, $55 million. Jared Goff, $53 million. Justin Herbert, $52.5 million. Lamar Jackson, $52 million. And Jalen Hurts, $51 million. Where does Dak land on this? Because you got guys like Jordan Love, who's looking to get a contract very soon.
Yeah.
You got Tua Tagovailoa, or Huck Tua,
as
they're saying now. That's a joke in its own self there. These guys are going to get their deals maybe this offseason. Where are they going to fall in this thing? And then, of course, huge pending free agent next year, Dak Prescott, which is where we're going to head to here in this conversation as we go with these players. Now, Dak and his baseline, is it now 55 now? I mean, that's what the Cowboys have allowed. Now, did they do this on purpose to try to kind of get Dak out of town? I mean, every time I say, not really, can it really be that? I don't know. I'm starting to think the Cowboys they're not going to. They say we love him, they're going to sign him, but yet they're letting his price go higher and higher and higher and higher. So a lot of people believe this is going to make Dak cross the $60 million threshold. And in March, basically, it's going to happen. Basically it's going to happen.
Dak's last chance to kind of, up the bidding.
I mean, that's it. I mean, he's either going to get it. If you don't get that money, his contract 56, 55, 56, 57 now, it's going to be $60 million, guys, when he's a free agent next year. And so the Cowboys keep waiting and waiting and waiting. No waiting on Calvin Richard and his $10 holler. Much love to Calvin Richard in the house.
Shout out there, Calvin.
What did the man say? Kicking off the first live stream of the first live drop of the live stream tonight.
Is it true that the Cowboys want to trade CeeDee Lamb to the Chiefs? And if that's true, trade Jerry Jones. Trade him for a 6-pack. It doesn't even have to be cold.
I wish. I would trade Jerry. I would give a team Jerry Jones, and I would buy them a 6-pack. I don't need anything in return for Jerry Jones. So, but that rumor is a rumor. There's nothing backing that up as of yet. I would not. Listen, anything can happen. You know, these rumors, sometimes something can pop up and all of a sudden a deal's done and CeeDee's gone. But no, Calvin, I do not believe that this is a real, true deal in the making or anything like this when it comes to CeeDee Lamb. It wasn't the Cowboys waiting on CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. It was CeeDee Lamb waiting on Justin Jefferson's deal. Now that's done. We still haven't heard anything from the Cowboys trying to get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb. So I don't really know what the Cowboys are trying to do, but they've gotten basically across the board D's or worse. Failing marks when it comes to the way they handle this offseason. And not just the fans. I'm talking about the analysts. I'll talk about that a little later. But Calvin, you are 100%, right about the sentiment. It feels like we should just get rid of Jerry Jones. I know. I wish we could. But I don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to be traded as of yet. And it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I haven't heard of it. It sounds like it's a rumor.
Yeah, so, and again, let's very much hope it just remains in that rumor realm. I just think that the Cowboys are doing their very typical dragging their feet to sign their guys type of thing.
I mean,
so that's what I'm saying. There's nothing that's happened so far is like out of the ordinary for our usual process of signing some of our big players from these last few years overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, is it worth for the Cowboys to keep their names in the limelight, in the news stories, to ruin their team? Like they're ruining the cap. They're ruining their own cap. And you're going to blame on the players? That's bullshit, cap bullshit. That is
it's
the
easier
Cowboys
than accepting that they're not qualified at doing the job that they've been doing for however long.
No. And that, unfortunately, guys, is the cross we have to bear when it comes to this fucking team. It's the front office, as we've said for years. Not a surprise. We're not surprised at all. It is frustrating, though, that the Achilles heel, the issue on this team forever and ever is always the foundational issue is the front office. And that front office, when you have a bad foundation, your house crumbles. It's been crumbling for 28 plus years. Going to be 29 this year. So, what else can I say other than fuck this front office and clown show? That's what we're calling you. You're the clown show for a reason.
Tyron Church said the clowns don't care.
Exactly. They just don't. Stormy in the house.
Yeah,
What's
shout
up?
out to you, Stormy. Thanks for rocking with us.
We will be going live on the After Dark specials tonight, After Dark channel. So, yes, let the people know out there, wherever you're hanging right now, Stormy, MCF After Dark coming soon tonight. I got a lot to talk about. I've seen some videos out there, dancing videos. I don't know what's going on, but people are going crazy, and we're going to talk about that tonight on MCF After Dark. But that's a whole different subject right now.
And before we get on to the next part, don't forget, guys, to take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, and, of course, hop in the Discord. Links down below. And back to you, baby.
Yeah, big shout-out to, again, Mr. Calvin Richard with the drop, the first live drop of the night, and he's moving up this board. Just quick drop like that, boom, he's up there. So thank you as well, sir. Now, just finishing up with this Dak Prescott kind of fallout when it comes to Trevor Lawrence and his big deal he got there. Where does this put Dak at? A lot of people saying Dak is crossing the $60 million threshold easily by 2025 if the Cowboys don't sign him now in this season. But there's really no reason for him at this point to take anything less than $60 million. Honestly, there's no reason, right? I mean, anything less, let's say it this way. Anything less than $60 million for Dak Prescott, Dak is taking a team-friendly deal. When people say, I want Dak taking a team-friendly deal, that means less than $60 million at this point. So it seems like it, right? So the Cowboys, it seems like the organization would have more reasons to pay him $60 million than Dak has to take less than $60 million. So the Cowboys, once again, putting themselves in a corner, backing themselves up to a corner for I don't know what reason. It makes no fucking sense. Someone please tell me. I mean, I know none of you guys know. I don't know if the Joneses know. They might belong in a fucking loony bin. But either way, a lot of people are saying right now the Dak contract that might be around the corner, whether it's with us or someone else, probably a 5-year deal, probably around $300 million, with about $205 million guaranteed. and about $150 million guaranteed at signing. In that range, a huge amount of money there. Whether it's the Cowboys or somebody else. And if you don't think that he's going to get, over 55 or even over in the $60 million range after Trevor Lawrence, who has worse numbers than Blake Bortles from the Jaguars. Remember him? I remember UCF. I remember him. He took him one game from the Super Bowl. So I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is literally, he's younger. That's about the only thing. But is he just another Dak Prescott, quote unquote? I don't know. Blake Bortles made it farther than Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. And he also had better numbers than Trevor Lawrence. Not Dak. He didn't have better numbers than Dak, but he had better numbers than Trevor Lawrence. And they gave Trevor Lawrence basically the highest paid quarterback in NFL history right now. So, or tied with it, with Burrow. So, Dak Prescott, the Cowboys allowed him to get pushed to this point. And here's the killer. This is the big news that came. To me, one of the biggest things. You see it in the title of this stream. It's the fact that the Cowboys have basically, through many different sources, have made it clear that the priority for extensions, whether it's Micah, CeeDee Lamb, or Dak Prescott, it's suggesting that Dak Prescott, not CeeDee Lamb, is the priority extension for the Dallas Cowboys this offseason. And they haven't done anything about it yet. So this is according to ESPN. This is according to Jeremy Fowler. He said this on Friday on SportsCenter. Again, take it with a grain of salt sometimes, but Jeremy Fowler is he's pretty, dug in there and in deep with a lot of these teams. He knows what's going on. The priority is not CeeDee Lamb at this moment. It is Dak Prescott.
And again, that happened, the fact, I'm just saying the Justin Jefferson contract was significant in more ways than one, because like we kind of said, it did set the ceiling, whereas, the Dak situation, it's not like that has necessarily happened on the quarterback market side.
Yeah. So, the ceiling's going up now.
Yeah.
And we knew that it was going to go up with CeeDee Lamb's and Justin Jefferson's deal, but that was out of the Joneses' hands, at least this year. Last year they could have got it done. This year was out of their hands. But the Dak situation was in their hands, and they just said, we'll wait. And Dak's like, cool, I'll wait. Dak don't care, he'll wait. So now that they're waiting, according to Jeremy Fowler, the Cowboys, even with them waiting still this long, still said that that's the priority is Dak Prescott to get signed. Cowboys prioritizing this contract extension with Dak before linebacker Micah Parsons, before wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, is what's expected, according to Jeremy Fowler. He said this, Jeremy Fowler, quote, "You've got Dak Prescott. The Cowboys have a world of problems here financially. With 3 players, they have to sign Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb as well. But the feeling around the league and the sources that many have talked to is that they want to start with Dak Prescott. They put it on the table to work with Dak's people. They said, hey, look,
my people call your people.
They said, hey, look, you're a priority. We want to try to get something done. But as far as hard dollars are concerned, there's still not even a lot of progress with Dak's contract. They want to start with Dak, and they haven't really even started with Dak yet. Is that something else, guys? So again, Jeremy Fowler said, quote, I would describe...
on brand for the Cowboys.
Yeah. He said, I would describe their efforts so far as passive. Cowboys are very passive with the priority deal of the 3, and that's Dak Prescott. And they're passive on getting that deal done right now. It sounds like the Cowboys just want to just fucking tricking us. And they're going to rebuild next year. It just feels like it. I don't know. Maybe CeeDee will be traded. I don't know at this point. But the Cowboys want to get all these guys. Haven't made a move to even try to sign any of these guys. And they say that if they're going to make a move, when they make that move, it's going to be Dak Prescott. It's going to piss off a lot of those Dak haters. It is what's being reported, though. Whether it's true or false, we'll find out soon enough. Or maybe we'll find out later. Because the way the Cowboys are doing this, maybe it'll be 2025 when the Cowboys will say, oh, we can't afford him now. We wanted him, but we can't afford him now.
Yeah.
Well, because you waited, Jerry and Steven.
Right.
So, now, as far as, forget these clowns. As far as Dak Prescott, he's over there working with Lethal Shooter, who's basically an NBA shooting coach. And Dak's over there working out basically by shooting baskets, shooting basketball, but he's shooting into a rim that's I looked at this, and the video is up. It's only like 8 foot. It's an 8 foot rim. Like, what are we doing here? But I guess it's more about accuracy, it seems like.
Okay.
Working on a shooting game, but it's, football, you throw it differently than a basketball. And
so,
I don't know what the correlation is, but it seems like maybe there's an accuracy issue.
Honestly, maybe it's also just about that same old test that you see in other ways, like arm strength and control, you know what I mean? How precise can you be? Can, maintain that, preciseness even across a longer stretch of distance and so on. So, I have to admit it's a little weird, but I guess I'm here for it.
I'm not. That stretch of distance is literally an 8-foot rim, not a 10-foot rim. All right, maybe it's a difference. Maybe it's about getting the ball higher when he throws. I don't know what it is, but it was literally like 7 feet away from him. It's not like he's throwing it like 20 feet. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you see the video, guys, you make your determination. I don't know what the help is going to be there. Now, as far as the intensity dialing up before training camp, we know these last weeks of OTAs and mandatory minicamp, that last couple of days of minicamp was definitely getting kind of, pushy and shovey out there. Dak made a comment about it. He said, quote, "We all know I love to compete and trash talk. That's the base of it. You have to have fun doing this. We all know that each and every day we're going to come in and we're going to compete against each other. We're trying to make each other better, and there's no way to do it than to compete. Talking, making sure the energy is high, celebrating after big plays, either side of the team, meaning offense or defense. It just makes it fun. It makes the whole iron sharpens iron fun. Understand that you're going to be dealing with the heat, dealing with all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to get better. So let's have fun doing it."
Right.
That's Dak's thoughts on this. One little last thing here. We talk about CeeDee Lamb going to the Chiefs. I don't think that's happening, but Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs quarterback. When you look at Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott over the same course of time, regular season, Patrick Mahomes is 36-14. Dak is 33-17. Touchdowns, 105 each. They're matched, equal.
That's pretty impressive considering how much of an offensive powerhouse, obviously, Mahomes
Well,
is.
we are too, though. We're always number one team. But when it comes to scoring, it seems the last couple of years, interceptions, Mahomes has thrown 39. Dak has thrown 38. Passer rating, 98.9 for Mahomes, 101.3 for Dak Prescott. So even a little bit better there. Yards per attempt, 7.5 yards for Mahomes. A little more, 7.6 yards for Dak Prescott.
Right.
And completion percentage, 66.8% completion percentage for Mahomes, 68.4 for Dak. He completes about 4% more of the passes. So he's better in these numbers than Mahomes in the regular season. We know it changes in the playoffs, but they're very close, is the point. Dak's got Mahomes type numbers, and yet, is it all on Dak when we get to the playoffs, or is it coaching? Is it the other players sometimes? Is it defense? Is it Dak as well? I think it's all these things, not just, people would just put it all on Dak because he's the money man, but he can't play defense. It's not his fault we were down 14-0, and the defense couldn't stop anything in the playoffs against the Packers. We got run over. That's on Dan Quinn, the coaches, and the players on the defense. So, again, and Dak had his part in to play, throwing that pick six, basically. But, my point here is he's right there with some of the best to do it, the best right now doing it, and still, is still not getting paid. They're still waiting to pay him. I don't know. Look, when you look at the percent, Dak played pretty much every snap last year. I mean, he didn't get hurt last year.
Yeah.
If anything, he was maybe took a little time off at the end of that Rams game, or but the percentage of each team's passes that were on target, the Cowboys were 83% of the passes, and that's mainly Dak Prescott. 83% of Dak's passes were on target. That's number one in the NFL.
I was going to say, those are really solid numbers, and now, it sounds like that's more than just pretty solid.
It's number one. Last year, at least. 80% was the next highest. That was the Detroit Lions with Goff, and and they're the quarterbacks. It's all the and Mahomes also at 80%.
Okay.
When it comes to on-target passes, 79% you have the Saints, the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the Giants. 78% the Vikings and the Bills. 77% the Bengals, the Broncos, the Packers, and on and on and on. The worst team as far as on-target passes, the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, Flacco, and that crew of guys.
Feeling a little rusty, huh?
So when you look at quarterbacks, our room is the best on-target team, quarterback squad in the league last year, with Dak taking like 99% of those snaps. But don't forget about the backups for a second. Just a quick second, I'm going to take a look at the backups. We all know about, Trey Lance and see if he could become the backup, not stay at the third string spot. But you saw some videos we put up there of Cooper Rush doing his thing. He looked pretty good out there. Now, an important note for those saying that Cooper Rush deserves the backup role based on the 2022 performance, which I think it was more McCarthy than it was Cooper Rush. Remember, guys, we missed Dak for, 6 games that year?
I think so.
And when Dak broke his thumb, and Cooper Rush took over, and McCarthy had to kind of
It might have been 5.
It was
5 or 6.
Yeah. So the point is that when Cooper Rush took over full starting games, he only lost 1 game. But it's not about the game. It's not the Cooper Rush Cowboys. Like, it's not the Dak Prescott Cowboys. The team was coached differently according to the quarterback we had in place. Because when you look at 2022 and Cooper Rush's numbers, he only was at a 43% conversion rate on third down. That was the worst amongst all quarterbacks in the NFL with a minimum of 22 attempts in 2022. So, again, I want to reiterate to people, Cooper Rush was good enough to keep the Cowboys from losing games, but not good enough to win games. Because McCarthy made sure of that. McCarthy made sure the game plan was more conservative for Cooper Rush, and he still couldn't do well. But the defense and other places picked up the slack. So that's why everyone's like, Cooper Rush went 4-1 or 5-1 that year. Yeah, but he was the worst third down quarterback in the NFL during that span, in that season with quarterbacks that basically played more than 1 game. Let's just put it that way, more than half a game. So Cooper Rush has done a great job, probably, outkicked his coverage, so to speak, but Cooper Rush is definitely not the guy of the future, and if anybody wants to replace Cooper Rush with Dak, you got to get your brain checked. Now, Cooper Rush is currently he's entering his 8th year with the Cowboys. I didn't realize he was with the Cowboys that long, but yeah, 8th year with the Cowboys. And again, like I said, he's 5-1 as a Cowboys starter. He did win that one in Minnesota, so I think that he was 4-1 in 2022. Okay. And then the year before that, he did win that one against Minnesota, or help win that game against the Vikings in Minnesota. So he's an experienced veteran. Started 6 games, he's 5-1. But now with Trey Lance in the fold, the quarterback backup competition and Oxnard in training camp is going to be exciting. It's going to be something, we're going to be watching. But again, even though, Cooper Rush is not great at converting third downs and he's not great at really, scoring points or putting up points, he does bring something to the table. So Trey Lance is going to have to overcome. Still, not Dak is out. He ain't coming close to Dak Prescott. But Cooper Rush, Cooper Rush right now is still the backup. He has not been beaten out yet by Trey Lance. So, right now, if you're looking at things, Trey Lance, you better make your move now, because there's no way the Cowboys are going to pay him anything next year. I mean, next year he might get a $5 or $6 or $7 million deal if he's able to be the backup to Dak, or a starter. Maybe he gets $12 million if he shows something crazy. I don't know if he even gets a chance to do that. But right now, the hopes is that he can, his ceiling is a lot higher than Cooper Rush. But of course, we don't know. Trey Lance maybe he's a complete bust. At least with San Francisco, he was. We'll see if he'll do anything. And to me, it's about training camp. It's about Oxnard. It's about preseason and how he performs in those games to see if he actually can bypass Cooper Rush. He sure damn well, he should be able to. But we have to see what happens. Do not overlook Cooper Rush. He's still very, solid, you can say. At the very least, he's a solid, experienced guy. Now, talked about the contract. The contract kind of priority. We heard that CeeDee Lamb is not a priority when it comes to Dak Prescott. Dak is first. Sounds like CeeDee's second. It sounds like Micah is third. So CeeDee Lamb right now, guys, I put up some videos up there of him working out and doing some grinding out there during this time away from the Cowboys camp, from holding out, from not just from OTAs, where he can voluntarily hold out.
Not just chilling on the couch.
Yeah, but when he's away from the OTAs, that's voluntary. But when he's with, he's missing the mandatory minicamp, he's getting fined. He obviously got fined $50,000 total, around that range, $60,000. But the point is, he's working out away from the facility. He just posted last week, a couple days ago, in a recent post to Instagram, quote, starting to see at CEE, starting to see the light and feel it all of a sudden. So are we getting closer? Is that a hint that maybe we're getting closer to a deal? So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But since 2022, the most 10-plus yard gains. That means you catch the ball and it's 10 yards or more. CeeDee Lamb has 139 of those, number one in the NFL. Tyreek Hill with 135. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 121. tied with McCaffrey. It's crazy. McCaffrey out of the backfield as a running back is the third most 10-yard catches in the NFL in the last 2 years. A.J. Brown with 120. Jefferson with 117. Devontae Adams at 108. Brandon Ayuk and Stephon Diggs at 106. And Jalen Waddle at 104. But remember, it isn't CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons or Dak Prescott's job to manage the salary cap.
That is the front office's job.
That is the clown show's job, correct.
That's like expecting Dak to throw the ball and also catch it.
If a player wants to give his team some sort of break financially with his contract, that is their choice, not their duty. The star is not worth what the star was worth, or the way that Jerry Jones trying to sell it to the players that he used to. And the only person that ruined the luster of that star are these two fucking clowns. Mm-hmm. Jerry and Stephen Jones. It's not Dak. It's not Romo. It's the clown show. They've ruined it. So there's not going to be any team deals here, guys. This is economics. This is financials. This ain't about, trying to win over the fans or, hey, I got a star on my helmet now. I'm so happy. Yeah, of course they're happy. But it's about business. So don't get mad at CeeDee Lamb or Micah or Dak for trying to get the most out of the dumb front office they're dealing with. Especially the way they're handling these deals, it seems to me. It's almost like the front office is asking. They're asking for problems. CeeDee Lamb's success rate.
What's new?
CeeDee Lamb's success rate per route that he runs. He runs a lot of different routes. During the 2023 season, the screen route, which is flip left or right, 8.5% success rate. In the flat, only 0.5%. A crossing route, 12.8%. And a slant, 12.8% as well. Out of all of these, only the screen is above average. Even though it's a lower number, 8.5, and some of them are 12%. Mm-hmm. The success rate out of the screen is above average for most receivers, but everything else, the flat, below average. The slant, below average success rate. The crossing pattern, about middle of the pack there when it comes to the shorter routes that run. Not very good for CeeDee Lamb. The screen is the best one comparatively to the rest of the league, while the other ones, although he's below average on two of them and middle range on the other one. I'll explain the other ones in a minute, but first we talk about the man Jet Li 44 and back in the house. He is last place on this board, on the overall board, but he is our gifting champion. Even though there's nobody on the board yet when it comes to the gifting memberships, what did the man Jet Li have to say?
Welcome back, MCF. Go Cowboys now and forever.
Hell yeah. Go Cowboys. Much love. Jason Renfro / a.k.a. Jet Li 44 in the house.
Yes, glad to be back.
Yes, with that $2 holler. I'll fix that board when I get to a stopping point because he is out of the last place spot. Yes, he is. So much love to you, Jason. And always go Cowboys. You know it. Now and forever. Now, as I move CeeDee Lamb down the field a little bit more, how about other routes? The hitch route. 18.9% success rate. That's below average in the NFL. When it comes to the out pattern, 19.3% success rate. That is also below average. The corner route, 4.1% success rate. Below average when it comes to other receivers. The post route, 2.2% success rate. Below average in the NFL. The in route, he has a 4.4% success rate. He's middle of the pack. And when it comes to the go route, down the field fly, 16.4%. You know what that means? He's middle of the pack. So guys, the only thing that CeeDee Lamb is above average, and it's not even, again, I'm going to say this, it's not CeeDee Lamb's fault. He's having these numbers. He's having big catch games. He's having big numbers receiving. He's the best receiver in the first 4 years of a season for any Cowboy in history, any Cowboy receiver. Even with all this, he's got these numbers and stuff to back it up, the touchdowns, the 10-yard plus gains, and all this stuff. Even with all that, the only route that he runs that he has above average success is the screen. A screen. That is the only thing compared to other receivers he's above average. Every other route that he runs is either, middle of the pack. And I'm talking about the crossing pattern, the go route, or the in route. And the rest, the flat, the slant, the out, the corner, the go, the slant, the flat, the out, the corner route, and the post route, and the hitch route, all below average. I believe this is more of the planning, the scheming of the system. I think maybe the Cowboys found it a little bit better after that bye week last year in McCarthy's offense, but man,
helped them maybe work through some of the kinks.
And some of it, he also managed it with his own route running ability to get a little separation. Dak slides it in there. But the Cowboys' schemes, the way they run things with CeeDee Lamb last year, even though he had a great year, he didn't have a lot of success when it comes to he had success by catching a lot of passes and getting a lot of yards and touchdowns, but he didn't have the success at running these specific routes with getting the ball and then getting yards after catch or moving the ball down the field more often. So, when you talk about analytics, these are some of the things that we talk about. Are the analytics team looking at this and saying, we don't want to pay CeeDee Lamb these numbers? We got Jet Lee 44 with another $1.76 holler right there.
Woo.
What did he have to say, baby?
He said, "Go Cowboys."
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He said, "Go Cowboys."
There you go. I was going to say, you always put the proper amount of pizzazz there. So thank you again, Jet Lee 44. I appreciate you, of course. And, I think Mr. Skeptical Fan is representing now with 52 points on that stream box.
Yes, he does. He does have that. There he is. Well, let me get that. Let me give him that heart there for Mr. Jet Lee. Skeptical still hanging on, but hanging on is the proper word. He's out of that green area. He's back there into the orange zone. So, when you look at these numbers, again, big thanks to Jet Lee 44. When you look at these numbers, when you look at these statistical, analytical numbers on the routes and success that CeeDee Lamb has, is this the analytics department, will they be changing their tune on things because of some of these factors? I can't believe they would, because I think he's done more with less in some ways. And I don't mean Dak Prescott. I'm meaning more the scheme, especially last year, the first half of the year, very below in targeting CeeDee Lamb to do. CeeDee Lamb went above and beyond to make plays happen. Mm-hmm. Then the scheme helped him make things happen. So I think it comes down to scheme more than player in this situation. We've seen what CeeDee Lamb could do. So when I'm talking about analytics, I'm going to throw in there a quick little mention here of a job that's open for the Dallas Cowboys. And John Park, the analytics head of the Cowboys department, he posted a job opening for the football operations software developer position for the Dallas Cowboys analytics staff. John Park said, quote, "Looking again for strength with clear eyes and full hearts at the Dallas Cowboys. The developers, would you be a good fit or know someone who is? Please help us amplify our search by sharing this message." So I'm helping it by sharing it. Please, someone in there, some genius, get in there and fix this organization with John Park, please.
Or I guess, we're getting you a wig, Mr. MCF.
I guess. I don't know if a wig is going to work. I don't know.
That was a joke.
Explain.
So, don't worry about it. Anyway, back to you, baby. But yeah, Asmodeus, I'm just shaking my head. So, what's up, Cleveland Brown? Thanks for hanging with us here. Much love. Big appreciation to everybody in the house here is dropping in here later and hitting that like and subscribing if you're new and all that good stuff. Now, I do want to continue to kind of mention here, we're talking about analytics. Mm-hmm. Talked about CeeDee Lamb and maybe some of the reasons why the front office is even more hesitant. I can't believe it, but maybe it is. Let's look at the tight end position real quick, because our tight ends coach, Lunda Wells, a couple days ago was in Los Angeles for the Ozzie Newsome GM Forum and Coaching Summit. He participated in the NFL's Coach Accelerator program last month in Nashville. So he's looking for, really an advancement for eventually an offensive coordinator / head coaching job one day soon. So Lunda Wells really has helped our tight end department. He started with the Cowboys as a blocking guy, a blocking kind of special offensive line assistant way back when. Went around the league, went to the Giants,
came back to the Cowboys as a tight ends coach and really upped the blocking of the tight end position and really trying to get these guys to be great at both things. So big shout out to Lunda Wells, and he's definitely on the up and coming guys here as far as coaches are concerned in the NFL and the future of the league. So a very respected coach, and he is tapping into the NFL's development and networking programs. So Lunda Wells is ready to leave Dallas probably sooner than later. You know, especially after he's getting ready. After this year, it might not be everybody might be gone.
I was
you know,
gonna say
so,
pretty much all the coaches are should probably be updating their resumes right now.
Yeah, I don't blame him
just
at all.
in case.
I would not blame Lunda Wells at all if he is just preparing himself to move up the ladder here. I mean,
exactly.
Why wouldn't you? So, and speaking of the tight ends, and I'm leaving Ferguson up there because he was there, guys. Jake Ferguson, Dalton Schultz, former Cowboy, Jason Witten. Well, I'm going to just put it this way. These are the tight ends that Dak has thrown to, right? Jason Witten, Dalton Schultz, most recently Jake Ferguson. There's always, every year, there's a tight end university. TEU is what it's called. and we have some video of that if you haven't seen it already. But the tight ends go there, and it was set up by Olsen, by Greg Olsen, by George Kittle, and by, of course, Travis Kelce. These three guys kind of set up this tight end university to get tight ends to come there, kind of learn little things from each other. And they always bring in like Fitzpatrick this year at quarterback and a couple others just to help throw the ball and maybe they learn some stuff from the quarterbacks, right? Well, Dak Prescott stepped up this year. He went there with his girl, right? He went there with his girl to went with him to this event. I think it was in Iowa, maybe. I'm not even sure where it was, but it was the Tight End University, and I'll explain more in a minute. First, explain what Jet Li 44 had to say, baby.
Oh, thank you. Jet Li, he said, "Go Cowboys."
With that dollar holler. Go Cowboys. Yes, you know it. Much love, Jet Li, as he's chipping away at Skeptical Fan, who's down to 51 points now on the stream. And I will definitely fix that for you, Jason. Don't worry, I will. But I want to get through a couple of these things first. So, anyways. So, Dak Prescott, guys, taking part in this TEU University, Tight End, it's Tight End University Clinic, which is run by Kittle, Kelce, and Greg Olsen. Now, Dak has always been a tight end friendly quarterback since he's entered the NFL, dumping it down to guys, like I said, Jason Witten initially, right? Then Dalton Schultz took over that mantle, and he's had, Witten was productive with Dak. Schultz was very productive with Dak. And then Jake Ferguson has been very productive with Dak Prescott. So Cowboy players, in this event that was showed up, the Tight End University event, of course, Dak Prescott as a quarterback. But how about our tight ends? It was Jake Ferguson there. And also Luke Schoonmaker was in the house as well, who's banged up and injured, but at least he was there. So he was attending this Tight End University. Now, Dak Prescott, this happened in Nashville, by the way, not in Iowa. Nashville, where Tight End University takes place here. And Dak was speaking to all the tight ends, new and old, about his experience, throwing the tight ends and looking at the tight ends in the offensive scheme. He said, quote, you guys are a quarterback's best friend. So a very true thing. A lot of times they're the option, the last option of your read. You got to make sure that you know where they're going to be at. And it's kind of your safety valve.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And multifaceted, too, because sometimes, they're the thing that saves the quarterback from, absolutely getting pounded into the ground, right?
Yeah, from a hit. When it comes to blocking.
I'm just saying, that's one thing that we've always appreciated, or at least I've always appreciated about tight ends. They are more than just, receivers. Yeah. But I think in this sense, Dak is talking about passing the ball. Because I fully agree. I just wanted to throw in my little...
Of course, no. Blocking is... chipping and all that stuff is good. Chip blocks and on the line of scrimmage. But finding your tight end open, down the seam, or, finding him as your fourth option, that is your safety valve to throw the ball. So that's what Dak is kind of referring to there. Hey, listen... I have a video up of Dak throwing a perfect seam pass to Jake Ferguson. It's up in the shorts, so check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Honestly, Dak really is one of the better guys that does this when it comes to kind of throwing to the tight ends. So he was there at this. He attended this clinic. And even Travis Kelce kind of gave his 2 cents on Dak Prescott at this tight end university. He said, quote, This is what Travis Kelce said about Dak. Whenever you can get an opportunity to be around one of the best in the game, you try to soak it in. Just understanding the schemes and finding soft spots in the defense. Dak knows it, and I'm glad I was able to pick it up right in front of him. So again, pushing his own program, of course. But he's saying, like, even just talking to Dak for a little bit, a guy who's really specializes in kind of finding the tight end and using him right in the offensive scheme. He said, he learned a couple of things just from talking to Dak about the way the quarterback mind thinks when they're kind of always relying on that tight end to kind of save them. And he should know he's with Mahomes over there, but he's more like their front guy, their number one guy. He's their number one receiver there. Dak's looking at it as you're the number 4 guy, and you're just as important as the number 1 or as a number 4. So, interesting stuff there from Travis Kelce speaking about Dak Prescott at this tight end university, which, again, Jake Ferguson and Schoonmaker did attend, so I wanted to make sure I got that over with before we say
Cowboy representation there.
Yeah, the important Cowboy representation. Hope they don't pick his brain too much so they know exactly what he's going to do when he drops it down to the tight end.
Not that much.
Yeah, we hope not, but hey, he dropped a lot of knowledge there and dropped a lot of good passes there to the tight ends. Jake Ferguson, Schoonmaker. It was a good event there in Nashville. We got Jet Lee 44 with another one, literally another $1. Holler.
Woo.
What did he say? I know what he said. What did he say?
He said, "Go Cowboys." I know. I don't have, like I said, I don't have the same pizzazz that you do.
He said, "Yes."
There it
is. You know what he said.
Thank you again, Jason.
Yes.
Sorry, Jet Li.
Yes.
I appreciate you, of course.
Appreciate you, sir, and big thanks. Big thanks. Now, moving on here again. I kind of trickling from the, I guess you could say the analytics stuff, because we talked about the analytics and the running position, the running back position. We're going to look at things differently this year. That's what we assumed. Mm-hmm. And we ended up getting Ezekiel Elliott. We're number 15 now. So, Zeke, interesting little quick note about Ezekiel Elliott. He has a chance to join the NFL's 10,000 rushing yard club this year. Now, this is if he plays full-time and gets over 1,000 yards. So, in Zeke's previous 7 years with the Cowboys, he has reached 1,000-yard mark on 4 different occasions. He's going to need a little more than 1,000 this year for the history book, so to speak. But at the moment, he's at 8,904 yards, career rushing yards right now. So he's about, 1,096 yards away from crossing the 10,000 rushing yard
that sounds
barrier there.
More than doable, right?
I don't think so. Not this year. No. Not in 1 year.
True.
He's going to be splitting carries. He's going to be not the star really feature back here. So he's not the old Zeke of before.
I know, but I still feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility. But guys, I guess that's just me.
Yeah. It would be, I think ask anybody in the chat. I think they'd be like, you're crazy. Because there's no way he's going to get 1,100 yards this year, Zeke. If he does, we're doing something wrong. Or he's blowing us out the water.
True.
That'd be a major surprise. So when you look at someone like Zeke, he's not going to get it this year unless things go crazy. But for this year to get to 10,000, he's going to need 1,100 yards, basically. All right, 1,996 yards. At the moment, there are only 31 players in the NFL right now that ever reached 10,000 yards rushing in the NFL. And the odds are that eventually Zeke will get to 10,000, but it's going to probably take him 2 years to do that. At the very least, 2 years. That is not the Cowboys' goal, is to run Zeke all day long. So don't expect him to get it this year. But if he can get 600 this year, 600 next year, somewhere else, whatever it is, he's got himself, over that mark. He's one of the few running backs one of the few 30-plus running backs in history that have ran over 10,000 yards in a season. Yeah, which is an achievement. It is, but I don't expect him to do that in 1 year. I see Jet Lee 44 with another one too. J. Lou Dollar Holler. What do you have to say?
Ground and pound is more of the Cowboys game.
If we do ground and pound this year, maybe Zeke does get that 1,000 yards or 1,100 yards. I still would not bet on that. I bet on the under 800 run rushing yards when it comes to Zeke at best. But yeah, ground and pound is something the Cowboys used to do. Don't do it as much anymore because the NFL's gone to a passing, high-powered passing game style. Still, you never know. You just never know. So just so you get an idea of what the rushing numbers look like, Emmitt Smith, of course, over 18,000 yards, 18,355 yards, the all-time record. Walter Payton on this list second, 16,726 yards. Frank Gore, exactly 16,000 yards. In third place, Barry Sanders in fourth, only played like 9 years, 15,269 yards. And Adrian Peterson fifth, 14,918. Zeke will never hit these yards. He'll never get to this top 5 list. But you look at the bottom 5 of the list, and right now, by the way, Derrick Henry is probably going to get to 10,000 yards before Zeke will. Just so you guys know. So, even though Zeke was in front of him for most of his career, Henry has caught him, passed him now, and it's literally, I don't know. Derrick Henry's going to probably get to this mark of 10,000 yards in a career before Zeke does. Probably do it this year, Derrick Henry with the Ravens. But the last 5 guys on the list: Tiki Barber, 10,449 yards; Eddie George, 10,441; Marshawn Lynch, 10,413; Otis Anderson, 10,273, and Ricky Williams hit the 10,009 yard mark. That's That's basically the bottom of the list here at 31st most rushing yards in history. Like I said, Zeke is 1,096 yards behind 10,000 yards right now. So there you go. Just a little inside info there on the Ezekiel Elliott situation. We'll see how they use him. I don't see him getting it this year. Now, just thinking one last thing here with the analytics, I guess. I say analytics because these are kind of the numbers inside the numbers.
Yeah.
Since 2021, we're going to go to defense real quick, just for a second. Since 2021, Eric Kendricks, which is our new linebacker with the green dot there in the middle, is 10th among all linebackers with a total combined 397 tackles. So, again, I know it's only been the last 3 years, but in the last 3 years, he is 10th with most combined tackles. So, bodes well, knock on wood, that he don't get hurt. The next closest linebackers for the Cowboys, again, guys, 397. He's 10th. Micah Parsons has 213 at linebacker, which is 53rd in the last 3 years. Not very good. Leighton Vander Esch only had 197 tackles combined in the last 3 years, of course, the injuries, but 58th ranked. And Damone Clark has 156 combined tackles. That is 80th in the NFL. So, yeah, Kendricks by far, Kendricks is better than any linebacker we have when it comes to tackling. Assist or, solo. He is the top of our list, at least, by far. I mean, he's 10th and everybody else is 50th or worse. So, again, the importance of Kendricks is major. He should be a good addition to the defense. Again, not just these numbers, but also the fact that Kendricks knows Mike Zimmer's system, and he's now our defensive coach. So for the first year, so he'll be teaching a lot. Green dot, very important pickup there. Mm-hmm. Another guy, and I don't have him here to show, I think, but another guy that we definitely talk about a lot is DaRon Bland. I just want to quickly say, most interceptions in single coverage. That means no help. That means not getting zone coverage, not getting double teamed. Right? In single coverage, the most interceptions since 2022, DaRon Bland has 12. The next closest guy to him in single coverage when it comes to interceptions is Tariq Woolen from the Seahawks with 6. That's half of what he has. And then there are 7 players in the last since the last 2 years. 7 players tied for 4. I mean, tied 4 guys, 7 players tied with 4 interceptions. So DaRon Bland blows everybody out the water when it comes to single coverage and getting interceptions. So DaRon Bland, major for the Cowboys once again. But what about Stephon Gilmore? Right? We know he is nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. But we did find him during the NBA Finals in Dallas. Now he was with he was with his wife, or I don't know if his girl or his wife, but she was wearing Boston Celtics garb. So but he was in Dallas, right? So we're like, what's going on? Stephon Gilmore was in the house in Dallas for Game 4 of the NBA Finals versus the Celtics. Remember, he does play with the Patriots too, so he could be just following the Patriots, maybe following the Celtics.
Yeah, but he's obviously
for that reason.
Go ahead.
No, he's obviously. Well, I don't know. He's just kind of. My point is that he's at this game. It could be for the Celtics. It could be for the game. It could be for the the Mavericks, I guess. But he's been in New England a lot longer than he's been in Dallas. Is my point. I'm reading too much into this. My thing here. All I'm saying is he was in Dallas, and the Cowboys didn't even talk to him. So no Stephon Gilmore. It looks like on the horizon. I will talk about two guys though. One on offense and one on defense, where the Cowboys may take a chance and maybe sign somebody free agent wise. But first, I see Jet Li in the place to be with a $2 holler, and I'm going to update that board now. So, what did Mr. Jet Li have to say?
By the way, he said with a $2 holler, Cowboys football is run the ball and play defense. I mean, I thought you were gonna
and go Cowboys.
Share your
thoughts there. I'm updating the board, baby.
I mean, again, the Cowboys are, and especially with this being McCarthy's last hurrah, so to speak, or else he's probably going to lose his job, and he might lose his job regardless. I don't think that McCarthy's style is run the ball and play defense. He definitely had a mindset of trying to elevate the offense past whatever Kellen Moore had brought this team to. So I think in a lot of ways he did. But we are not as run the ball as we were before.
We run the ball by throwing on first down.
So, and of course, playing defense, that one is...
that's out of McCarthy's hand.
I was going to say, you hope they do that.
So Zimmer might bring some of that back. But, that's
definitely curious to see how that part of things plays out. So, especially since you said with your previous $2 holler also said that the ground and pound is more of the Cowboys' game.
In the old days, for sure. Not with McCarthy. I agree with you on that, baby. A good point.
Honestly, I think the Cowboys got away with a lot in a lot of ways just because we had the talent to get away with not having to innovate when it came to schemes and offense as much. That's, again, this is not a negative comment. It's a neutral comment, right? When you have players that talented, you basically can just run everybody over and just, get to the finish line.
The key is the offensive line. Yeah, the key is the offensive line. If you want to ground and pound an 8, some of it's, of course, a lot of that's going to be the McCarthy scheme. Mm-hmm. But if he wants to throw on first down, why do you need a ground and pound running back? It's about the offensive line. If they can, we had a horrible run blocking last year. I think if we could improve that, I think that would be a major step towards maybe ground and pounding it a little bit more. I don't know. But let me stay on that topic real quick because I wanted to bring up two free agents the Cowboys probably should consider, in this next couple of weeks here before training camp. So what about interior? I always say we need a defensive tackle, and we may need an offensive backup, somewhere on that offensive line because we got a rookie right now. We got Chuma Odogo who's going to have to start at left tackle right now. So I think on offense, tell me what you think here. And I've said this name multiple times. I think David Bakhtiari, who's, again, had a terrible knee injury in late 2020. That's a bunch of years ago, right? It ended, basically, it ended any kind of chance for him to be like a top lineman anymore. He has undergone, I think it was last year, actually, not 2020. I think it was 2023 it happened. But either way, he's undergone surgery after surgery after surgery since 2020. I guess that's what I meant to say. In an effort to try to regain his kind of elite status, it's not really been that way. Over the last 3 years, though, when he plays in the game, kind of reminds you of Tyron Smith. He's great. He's a solid, very good, reliable left tackle. The problem is, in the last 3 years, he's only played 13 games.
So definitely still needs more experience.
No, he has all the experience that we need. He's an old school player. The problem is that he is banged up the last 3 years, cannot get back to the level he was at because of surgery after surgery after surgery. And, in the last, 3 years, I guess, 2020, after 2020, 2021, 22, and 23, he's played 13 games. So it's not about experience, baby. It's about the fact that he just cannot be counted upon to be a starter. Kind of think of Tyron Smith, but a million times worse in the sense of injury, not in ability. Yeah, when he's playing, he's Tyron Smith. Okay, so So if you want to look, all I'm going to say is this: you can, of course, we don't know what the Cowboys going 100% going to do yet. We know that we picked up Tyler Guyton to kind of play that left tackle spot. But starting day one, is that going to happen? Right? If it's not him, it's Chuma Edoga. So that's my question: is like, do the Cowboys want to have someone at least viable in case one of these guys are not really ready to go yet? We can also move, Tyler Smith from guard to tackle if we really wanted to. But then we have an opening there at guard. So we don't know what Willetsko is going to do. He's been injured pretty much every year. Awesome Richards from last year in the 5th round, can't count on him to start left tackle. And what if there's an issue with Terrence Steele, who has had, issues since coming back from the torn ACL and MCL 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I guess, got hurt a year and a half ago, missed, was not at his best last year, and you can tell by the run blocking issues he had. So if anyone struggles, meaning a starter, meaning they don't want to move Tyler Smith over to left tackle, if Terrence Steele is having issues, any of these things happening, you can have a guy that can step in for a couple of games, not the whole season because he ain't going to last. But someone like David Bakhtiari is an option, and it'll be a cheaper option, a solid Pro Bowl player when healthy. When healthy. That's the big when healthy. That's the big question there. So I would rather have a veteran like Bakhtiari in relief as a backup than any of the guys I mentioned, than Chuma Edoga, than Willetsko, than Awesome Richards. If you don't want to move Tyler Smith to tackle, then we have a hole at the guard spot. You got any of these guys, the rookie, of course. When you look at our current rookie right now, when Tyler Guyton, if he struggles, there's nothing to fall back on. Tyler Smith, then we got an opening at the guard spot. So either way, we lose there. That's why I still think there's got to sign a more solid guy than Chuma Edoga. Let's just be honest. Jet Li, once again, he's the man of the night tonight. Moving up the board quickly, too. Jet Li dropping that $2 holler. What did the man have to say?
We did get younger on the O-line through the draft.
We did, but we still need something to help us there. A veteran of some sort, in my opinion, because what happens if Guyton struggles? What happens if we don't want to move Tyler Smith out to left tackle? And if we do, then do we trust TJ Bass at guard? Do we trust, let's go, Austin Richards, Chuma Edoga at left tackle? That's scary, scary situations, in my opinion. We got younger, which is good, but we also got worse in depth in the sense of tackle. The guard and center, the guard positions were right there, I think, with depth. TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman, and others. But I have a major scare when it comes to that left tackle spot. We put all our eggs in the Tyler Guyton, basket. It's not a guarantee it's going to work. It might work week 6 or week 8, but not week 1. So you got to get someone in there. And I don't know if Bakhtiari is the answer, but he's definitely the highest elite level guy you can put in there that's still around. If you take in consideration his injury situation, he's ready to go. But how long he might last a game or 2, right? So if you want to have somebody that's cheaper than Tyron Smith, David Bakhtiari is the guy to go for, in my opinion. That's why I still look for him as a possibility for the Cowboys. Now, what did the man... Oh, yeah, he already said it.
Yes.
Jet Li already said it. He said he got younger, yes. But we also got less experienced. Very, very much. Without Tyron Smith, we dropped huge amounts of experience right there.
So even though that youth was very much needed... and very much welcomed, right? We still don't want to completely just throw all of the experience out the window along with Tyron Smith, right? We want to make sure that we are still balancing that out with, maybe older, more experienced guys who can contribute in that way.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what Eastside Harold is saying is that it's seeming like it's more and more like a rebuilding situation for the Cowboys. With everything we've been talking about, with the stars, with the young guys, with the O-line, with the injuries, it just seems like the Cowboys are like trying to sell something to the Cowboy fan base that's not a reality. So even I got to agree with Eastside on that situation to some extent. The other side of the line is where I'm also always curious about, and that is the defensive tackle spot, which again, Calais Campbell off the board. Now I don't know if what was the name that Tyrone Church said earlier about the defensive tackle that's still available. Maybe we talk about the same guy, so maybe get back there.
Let me roll back and see if I can find that comment. I mean, you'll have to give me a little while.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I'm waiting.
Let me see. Cam Akers.
No.
Isaiah Bug. No.
There he is.
Brian Mon.
There we
go. Defensive tackle Brian Mon.
And that is the guy I am saying that's on my short list of guys left.
Oh, there
that's
you go.
That's why I wanted to make sure I went back and Tyrone Church. I hope he's in the house here, but Brian Mon, defensive tackle, 28 years old. All right, coming off a significant injury, which is perfect for the front office. They love injured guys, but when he's healthy, Mon is a perfect, simple, not going to pass rush. He's a run stopper. He's a perfect defensive tackle capable of playing two gap from a 0 or 1 tech position, right over center, to the left or right of the center. He does not offer anything as a pass rusher, which is fine. We've said this, but he's a very, very strong run a tackler. But it's more about him being able to take on double teams and not get moved backwards. Take on double teams. Make the time it takes for the offensive lineman to release off of the double team and then try to block the linebacker. It's harder to do that when you have Brian Mon in front of him and kind of like slowing him down even a millisecond. That will make the linebacker hit that hole and not get blocked because of Brian Mon. So this guy's still out there. He's a guy that occupies offensive linemen at double teams consistently and does it well. So at this point, we know Calais Campbell and other guys that we talk. Brian Mon, a lot of people are not going to know who he is. I barely knew who he was, but after looking up some stuff and Tyrone Church, it kind of rang a bell. I wasn't sure if it was the same guy. I've had this information for like a week and a half, so I kind of forgot the actual match to that name. But yes, Brian Mon is a very good option. That's still out there for the Cowboys for the cheapest you can get, basically. Since Calais is gone. Let's put it that way. Calais Campbell on the cheap, by the way. So Brian Mon, defensive tackle, another guy I look at here. Now, the biggest, issues are, again, like we say, always the clown show. We don't want it to be. That's just the truth. Jerry Jones said he was all in this year. You're hearing these moves we're making, or the lack of moves. We're still letting guys fall off left and right by the wayside after hearing cheap deals on these guys. Cowboys are not interested in anyone. Very, very. So when ESPN graded all the teams in the NFL and how they did, the Cowboys in this offseason, everyone got grades. The Cowboys got a D+. They got a big D+. And basically, they're basically saying what was the biggest off-season move for the Cowboys? Not signing our stars to new contracts. Not signing Dak, Micah, or CeeDee Lamb. That's the biggest offseason move, according to ESPN, by the Cowboys. Now, they also said the biggest move was not signing our stars. But the move that they liked was spending two of our first 3 draft picks on the offensive line. Jason Renfro saying, Jet Li saying, Guyton's a big run blocker, and he is a great run blocker. Very good pass blocker as well. It's more about, is he going to be ready week 1 or 2 or 3, right? When we be ready by, we don't know. Same thing with Cooper B with the switching from guard to center. But my point here is that's the stuff that ESPN did like that we did, is start building on that offensive line for the future, for now and the future, basically. But the move that they disliked the most, not signing quarterback Dak Prescott to an extension yet. Which some people, 50-50 in Cowboy land.
Yeah.
But according to ESPN, big mistake by the Cowboys. And, they said, quote, owner Jerry Jones said the Cowboys were all in and then spent free agency doing almost nothing. Something that we've talked about here. Shit, I hate to say it, but when we're live on the daily, we've said that. So, what did this clown show actually do?
Besides honk their noses?
Besides honk their dumbass noses. Because they did do something in this week we were gone, guys. And let me break it down for you so we can be on the same page and see the big moves made by Jerry and Stephen Jones. The only moves made, and that is right behind them right now. And it has 3 letters that the Cowboys are going. We went from, a couple of moves in free agency, the first couple of weeks of free agency in the past, which is very little compared to most teams. Like 2 moves, right? 1, 2 moves. From that The Cowboys went to, well, let's wait till after these waves of free agency. All right. Now we're in before the draft, we're making a couple moves. Then it went to, well, let's wait till after the draft so we don't lose compensatory picks. All right. Now after we didn't do shit after the draft, really. So now that we're at this place, we only got Eric Kendricks this year in this entire span of that, basically. Now it seems like the clown show is a new kind of way of approaching free agency. And that's the USFL. I say USFL. That's the UFL, which just ended. I was there in St. Louis, so St. Louis was not playing for the championship game. We were supposed to go see it on Father's Day, could not go. It was 25-0. The Birmingham Stallions won again. That's the former team of Brandon Aubrey, won another championship. But the guy on the right played in that game, number 50. I'll explain in a minute. So the Cowboys signed 3 players. All 3 players from the UFL. This is like the farm league in baseball. This is like the D League in basketball. We're signing our guys, not from NFL free agency anymore. We're signing our guys from the UFL. Now, I understand getting Brandon Aubrey, a kicker. I think a kicker just signed with the Lions, I think, for a shitload of money from the UFL. I think he hit a whole bunch in a row. He hit a 64-yarder. So you can get your kicker from the UFL. That's fine. We signed Cavante Turpin the year before that. I mean, a kick returner, punt returner. You can get a specialist from the UFL, no problem. But to build your team off the UFL, I think would be a big issue. And the Cowboys have gotten more free agents, it seems, outside free agents, from the UFL than the NFL. The Cowboys are like the UFL right now, it feels like. So who are these guys we signed? Let's not waste any time. We start with the man in the middle, who's the best one of the group, in my opinion. All UFL linebacker Willie Harvey Jr. We talked a lot about him last week. He had come in for a workout. He went undrafted in 2019. Harvey was signed by the Browns. He was waived on August 31st of that year of 2019, but then was re-signed to the practice squad the next day after he was promoted, to the active roster that year in September 2019. He then got hurt and went on injured reserve in October, so didn't show much. He was waived in September of 2020, the following year, then was re-signed the year, didn't have football for a year, re-signed in August of 2021. He was released again less than 2 weeks later, but was re-signed for a third time in December of 2021. Again, not getting many games in the NFL. That didn't last too long. He was waived again at the end of the year in January of 2022. Then he signed the reserve future contract 3 days later, and then as the offseason ended in August, he was waived once again. 3 months later, Harvey was drafted by the St. Louis Battlehawks. You see him right there with St. Louis. Of course, it's the UFL and XFL, the same thing, but it's the XFL side, which is where St. Louis plays. So now, he's been with them for basically 2 years, 2022, 2023. In January 2024, Harvey then re-signed with the Battlehawks, and this time was named to the 2024 All-UFL team earlier this month. So at least he broke through the UFL after multiple years, some injuries, some just can't perform well in the NFL. He broke through in the UFL this year and was named to their All-UFL team earlier this month. We said this before, he led the UFL in tackles, which is something the Cowboys are definitely interested in. It's getting some help there, at least depth. So, again, at linebacker, officially on our team, he finished with a league-high 76 tackles and 9 tackles for loss. But 76 tackles is number 1 in the UFL. But 9 tackles for loss was number 2 among all defenders in the UFL. And he didn't just produce as a tackler. He added, he also caused some havoc. He produced I think he forced 2 fumbles, which was tied for first. He deflected 6 passes, which was tied for 6th. And he also got 4 sacks as well in the UFL. Put up some video on him already, so go check it out if you haven't. But it's the UFL, guys. It's like the minors, all right? So if you look at if those that have covered the UFL really closely, we know Will McClay Chris, what's his name? The mullet guy. I forget his name.
I almost said Chris Hall.
Yeah, it's Chris Hall.
Oh, is it Chris Hall?
Yeah.
There you go.
So Will McClay and Chris Hall, they definitely look at the UFL because it seems like their hands are tied to doing anything else. So, but the people that do cover the UFL closely have nothing but great reviews about this Cowboy edition. Of course, UFL. I'm going to remind you guys, he's a UFLer. All right. So in Dallas, what's going to happen? He's going to compete against guys like Buddy Johnson. You're like, who? Isn't he in the commercial? Isn't he that little guy that... Buddy Johnson is our practice squad linebacker. We're getting a practice squad guy to challenge a practice squad guy. That's what we're doing here. This is the big deal, the Cowboys. This is our best of our 3 signings, by the way. So, and he's already just barely a practice squad guy. So he's going to be battling against him, which again, Buddy Johnson moved to the Cowboys since last year on our practice squad. Other guys like Jason Johnson, Brock Morganson, both these guys were undrafted from this draft. These are the depth. This is the practice squad core of the linebackers. These are the guys he'll be going up against, basically challenging, trying to win a spot somewhere on our roster. He already has an uphill battle on his hands, but he, again, like I said, has some NFL experience, which he's hoping is going to put him over the hump. You know, another linebacker, Joel Lanning and Willie Harvey, both wear number 7. Like they're going to be wearing number 7, so they have to make a choice which one, who's going to switch. Lanning said he'd have a squat off with him for the number, while Willie Harvey said he knows he'll win that squat off if they're going to fight for the number. But outside of that, joking around, a quick scouting review and scouting report on Willie Harvey Jr. here, number 51 on your screen. He's an undersized linebacker. He's only 5'11", 229 pounds. And he only has 30.5-inch arms. That's not good. That's not going to make it in the NFL. Now, he is a good enough athlete, shows some promise in some areas. Again, we're talking about maybe getting on the practice squad. He displayed some improvements in rushing the passer the last couple of years in the UFL. And he did make an impact this year in the UFL as an off-the-ball blitzer. So maybe as a middle linebacker coming in as a blitzer, right? Mixed in some effective reps rushing off the edge like Micah would. But again, UFL. He does show quality as a short to intermediate zone coverage guy. Like he drops back in coverage in the zone. When you see that, yeah, he can cover a little bit, I guess, right? He's some quality there. And he does do well when he's able to read and then break off a quarterback's vision. But he's not someone you want to see matching up against a good pass catcher or playing man. Playing man. You just don't want to see that. So I don't know what usage he's going to give us. At best, when he can play on the edge, of blocks, that's when he's viable in the UFL. But in the NFL, being so small, he's going to just get moved around, taking on, when he takes on a block square on. Yeah. He gets moved right out the way because of his size. So now a lot of times he also tries to jump around the block, and then he even doesn't put himself in worse situations sometimes. So, not a very good situation. We're bringing in this guy. He's the best guy of the 3 we're bringing in, and already he ain't even going to make the team, in my humble opinion. He's not a slow processor, so he has that IQ going, but he needs to improve. He basically needs to speed up that process to be able to get to his run fit, to get to his run assignment before a blocker can basically take him out the hole there and knock him out. So, again, you're going to probably see him play some 3rd and 4th string reps at the Sam, strong side linebacker, or at the Will, the weak side linebacker. He's not going to be the middle. He's not going to be the Mike. He's going to be the middle, the strong side or weak side linebacker, and he'll probably be doing that with the 3rd or 4th string team for the Cowboys. You'll see him a lot in that last preseason game. Now let's get worse. The other guy we signed, and we signed both these. First, these 2 guys we signed were on the same day. Cowboys signed a former first-round pick, cornerback Garon Conley. We signed Garon Conley along with Willie Harvey the same day a former Raiders player. They drafted him in the 2017 first round. All right. Now there is a connection to the Cowboys. Paul Gunther. All right. He's the Cowboys, basically the defensive run game coordinator, which is something we never had before. So Paul Gunther knows him intently and knows him well. So that's probably the connection of maybe, hey, take a shot with this number. As you can see on the screen, he's number 20 on the left side of your screen. So Paul Gunther knows him from the Raider days when they drafted him. Now Gunther is the Cowboys' defensive run game coach, and he was a defensive coordinator in Oakland in 2018 and 2019 when he was working with Garen Conley. So that's the connection there. He's a former first round pick. He was picked 24th in the 2017 draft. Spent nearly 3 years with the Raiders. Again, 2017, 18, and 19. Then he spent 2 more. I guess the half year with the Raiders, but the other 2019 half was with the Houston Texans. I mean, maybe Eastside knows him. He was there from 2019 to 2020 with the Texans. If you go back farther, in 2015, he won a college football national championship with Ohio State. Now, I'm going to say this because he is a cornerback. I don't know if I made that mention, but he's a cornerback. So we need depth there as well. I've been saying we need a good 4th or 5th guy. He's not either of those. He's not a good 4th or 5th guy on the, in my opinion, when it comes to the, the depth chart. So I will say one thing: as a camp body, it's probably his only service right now for us. Remember, guys, Trayvon Diggs is coming back from that torn ACL. All right. So early in the year, early in training camp, the Cowboys are going to need help with some camp bodies in there, and this is where he's going to come in handy. All right. We also drafted, in my opinion, I'd rather just use this guy, Kalen Carson, who we drafted this year. Promising rookie, I guess you can say. He's supposed to the seatbelt, right? He's always on coverage. And, of course, we're returning with starters Deron Bland and Jordan Lewis. Conley gives the Cowboys another kind of an option guy, a camp body, who has experience, which is in the NFL, not just in the UFL. He has experience in the NFL. Again, also former first-round pick with a coach that knows him from there. It didn't work out there in Oakland. So, again, Bobby Belt, one of the analysts out there, said that the Cowboys had interest in him during the draft. But we eventually took Taco Charlton instead. Not much better. You know what I mean? So, whoever's making the choice for the Cowboys and getting interest, Taco Charlton and Garen Conley, both these guys are in the UFL. Well, I guess Taco is still in the UFL, but Garen Conley not with the Cowboys. So that's it. That's the update on this pickup here. He most recently, of course, played, as you can see right there, with the Defenders, the DC Defenders in the UFL. The biggest thing here is he has experience and he has familiarity on a defense that, that probably played a role. Gunther, knowing him, that played the role in him being signed to the Cowboys. Just some quick update as well on these two players. Jersey updates. Willie Harvey Jr. is number 55. So if anybody has the LVE jerseys, you can still use them, at least in preseason.
Still, I have to admit, as soon as you said 55, I'm like, oh man, that's a little weird. Thinking that LVE hung up his cleats.
Yeah, well, we knew it was coming. But
I know. It's still going to take a little getting used to, is my point.
Unfortunately, nobody's wearing 55 is going to be on this team for too long. But yeah, right now it's Willie Harvey Jr. He was fighting for number 7. He must have lost that. And I think that was with the college, or maybe that was in the UFL. But yeah, no more. There's nothing. He is basically both these guys. Willie Harvey is not going to make this team, in my opinion. If he does, his practice squad.
Yeah.
Garen Conley, number 20 on your screen, he's going to be wearing number 43 for the Cowboys as of now. So if you want to know who was the last person to wear 55, we know it's LVE. We know that. Do you guys know who's the last person in the Cowboys to wear number 43?
No, actually, I don't.
Yeah, because it goes back to the 70s.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I definitely, mentally ran through my list, and I'm like, yeah, I can't think of anybody. I definitely wouldn't have thought of anybody.
I think, like, Sensabaugh or, who was the other guy that we had? Some of the guys wore number 43, but the last notable 43, Cliff Harris. the last number 43 that made any that we remember seeing on that field in any real way. I mean, that's not saying much for that number. So Garen Conley, he's currently on number 43. Now, Cowboys had 4 open roster spots on our team. That drops down to 2 now with these 2 signings, right? 88 out of the 90 spots. Now we have 89 spots out of 90. We signed one other guy here a couple days ago. I don't think anybody's been talking about him. Not that I really need to talk much about him because, honestly, like these other 2 guys, he will probably not make the team. He's probably just a camp body at best. And he'll be on the practice squad. Is another UFL player, not an NFL player, a UFL player, defensive edge rusher Jonathan Garvin. Previously, he played 3 years in Green Bay, so at least he has some NFL experience there. Again, he worked out for the Cowboys, and right now he's 24 years old, coming off a productive season with the UFL champion Birmingham Stallions. Remember, nobody could be signed from the UFL until after the season ended on Sunday, so these signings were official the day after. But just a little note here. Again, I'm going to rephrase that. I said we signed 3 people. It sounds like the Cowboys are just going to work him out. They're not sure yet, but signs are pointing that they will sign him. He was the number 2 ranked edge defensive player in the UFL this year. He has a 33.1 pass rush win rate. So very effective in the UFL as a pass rusher. Cowboys worked him out the other day. The belief is that he'll sign. I think it's really 2 players they signed, not 3. So I'll have to fix that in the title. But he's a guy the Cowboys really like. We'll see if the Cowboys, put ink to paper on him. And it's just another camp body and a probable, at best, practice squad player. So, any comments on that in the chat? Any comments from you, baby, on these stars that we got?
Actually, yeah. So, Asmodeus had said earlier, all this searching for a diamond in the rough is a waste of time, in my opinion.
I agree.
So, James Hurt also throwing out there, Jerry is waiting for an Arch Manning to come out of the ultimate franchise QB. We'll get Jerry more headlines with the bloodline.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's just not, at least it's very, very highly, highly unlikely to ever actually happen.
Yeah, not an effective way to build your team.
No. Especially considering all the time, effort, energy, and resources that we spend into, trying to develop some of these more interesting acquisitions by the Cowboys. So, Anyway, shout out to Burn Bar, by the way, as well. Much love to you.
There you go. James Hurst had sensible. That's right. That's what, but again, none of this is really working much for us, for the Cowboys, because, these guys are just going to be temporary camp bodies that are going to be gone by the end of training camp and, at best, get re-signed to the practice squad. So, nothing new to speak on these guys. It is unfortunately, I think, just wasted pickups. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not picks, but wasted signings. It's just wasting my time.
Burn Bar said, Jerry Jones is trying to fail so we can get back Deion Sanders as a coach and his son as quarterback. Watch.
There's always some kind of big conspiracy. I hear you, Burn, but I think Jerry's just dumb. I think Stephen Jones is dumber. I think that we have a problem. Obviously, it's a front office issue. And this is far from signing our problem. Fixing our problems we have by signing these 3 minor leaguers to play bench warmers at best. So, F across the board as far as I'm concerned with this offseason. They gave us a D+. I think the only reason you get a D+ is because we signed some offensive line. We drafted offensive linemen in the draft early. That's the only positives. Outside of that, it's been a disaster. I will say one last thing. Let's finish with the draft here, because I do want to make a mention about a couple things in the draft, and I'll throw up the rookie class here. That's probably the biggest highlight for the Cowboys has been the rookie class. And I want to give you a little insight, it's out right now. If you have, I think, is it on, I know it's on Roku. If you guys have Roku, I think it's a special they have. Basically, it's a good thing. It's a good show. I'd watch it if I were you guys. But they follow around a bunch of teams during the draft and players during the draft so that, you can kind of see behind the scenes kind of things for the NFL draft in 2024. And we know now more what went down with the Cowboys trading situation from that 24th spot. The Arizona Cardinals, They had an offer to the Cowboys that the Cowboys declined. And this is why you get a D+, the Cowboys, because we made the right move in this. So, a lot of documentaries out there. NFL, we have Hard Knocks and other stuff out there, but the Cardinals, they have a series themselves. They have a behind-the-scenes series as well. But it's also, you can see this Roku also put some of those clips in there. The Cardinals have a series called Cardinals Flight Plan. And they put that out on their YouTube channel. This was last week. If you watch it, guys, again, they released an episode that covered a lot of different things, including the first round of the draft. You can watch it on YouTube. It's out there. But in the episode, the Cardinals general manager, his name is Monty Ossenfort, was trying to put together, and execute a plan for Arizona in the draft. And they selected Marvin Harrison Jr. at the number 4 overall pick, which is the number 1 receiver of the draft. But they also had the 27th pick of the draft. And apparently, guys, there was a high level of interest from them in moving it and seeing if they could kind of jump up and get the Cowboys' 24th pick. So they called the Cowboys. They said, "Hey, what do you want to give? What do you want us to give you for that 24th pick? You could go back 3 spots."
How much is it worth to you? Now, real quick, I did want to read this comment very quickly by Brandon Wesley saying, "This has been a very disappointing offseason ever. I mean, for Jerry Jones to say we're all in, what did we go all in for? Embarrassment. Jones in the front office will never see a Super Bowl."
Not the way this has been running, that's for sure. They're running it into the ground, unfortunately. But we're fans for life because it's the star of everything, including that ownership. The Ossenfort from the Cardinals spoke on the phone to probably Stephen Jones and notes that Arizona was willing to offer their 27th pick in the first round and the 104th pick, which is basically an early, like the 4th pick of the 4th round. So they were going to give us only go back 3 spots and again pick up a 4th rounder, early 4th rounder. And he also said it was contingent about the Cardinals hoping that their guy was still there, which I think a lot of people have. Morgan was the guy that I think they were looking at there. With the Cowboys, we're going to pick at 24, right? So earlier in the clip, Ossenfort mentions that the Packers were a threat for, quote, the big guy. The Packers wound up taking Arizona offensive lineman Jordan Morgan at number 25 overall, which is right there, right after the Cowboys. So that's the guy they were targeting, in my opinion. They were looking to jump the Packers to get, quote unquote, the big guy, offensive lineman Jordan Morgan, and they were willing to make that trade, give us the 104th pick. But, operating under the assumption that he was going to be there, which he was, the Cowboys were talking to him about maybe trading down and get that 104th overall pick. But the Cowboys would have moved back 3 spots, would have got an early 4th rounder, 104th pick. The Cowboys, though, said no. We're not going to take that deal. The Cowboys took a better deal. As we know, we took the deal from the Detroit Lions. We got their 29th pick, so it's 2 spots lesser, 2 spots farther back. Right? So we dropped 2 spots farther. Mm-hmm. But instead of getting the 104th pick, early 4th round, we got a earlier 3rd round pick, the 73rd pick, which we used for Cooper Beebe. So
obviously it all worked out in a positive way.
I'm just saying, would you go back 2 spots? Back 3 spots, but 2 more. We back 5 spots. But we only went back 3 and got the 104th pick, probably a running back. Or we could have went back 5 spots instead of 3 and picked up a 73rd pick, which was Cooper Beebe. I would say the Cowboys won big time on this one.
I agree. One of the few times we can actually say that and feel like it's true, right?
Yeah, it was actually a good move for once by Stephen Dumbass Jones. So it goes without reason. It goes without saying, guys, that the Cowboys were comfortable about taking the 73rd pick over the 104th pick and just losing 2 spots in the first round. The Cardinals wanted the Cowboys that 104th pick. We said again the 104th. We got the 73rd pick, and we know what happened from that. So to me, the Cowboys definitely played this well, capitalized on how desperate the Lions were for their guy. So if there was no deal if the Lions didn't offer anything, the Cowboys probably would have taken this deal and got the running back. No Cooper Beebe, and would have maybe gotten I don't know if we would have gotten our Tyler Guyton. We might have still gotten Tyler Guyton. It would have been just at 27 instead of 29. So at least that part worked out for the Cowboys. In my opinion, it worked out for the best. So a D+ by ESPN with all the shenanigans the Cowboys have had. Now, we did also have no shenanigans from Mr. Jet Li 44 with a $2 holler. And he just moved up the board a little bit more. Let me fix the board while you read his comment.
So, let me see here. Jet Li 44 said with his $2 holler, Clown Show needs to fire himself as GM and hire one. So, hey, I mean, we wish, but unfortunately, I guess that's one of the perks of being the owner. You put in a good word with the boss and you get to keep your job. Oh, so I honestly would just be happy with them bringing in someone who knows what they're doing and at least, taking some guidance from them or something, But they really just double and triple down on the fact that they feel like what they're doing is best and they know best.
I'm going to answer that. But first I want to say Jet Li 44, much love. He was 29th on the board. He is 14th on the board. That's moving a jump right up there. Hell yeah. Much love to Mr. Jet Li 44, and he may be moving up a little more too. We still got tomorrow. Maybe do a quickie stream and then final stream of the week tomorrow on Sunday night. We'll see who the winners are. Right now, still no one up for that. For that gifted membership. Right now, we'll say that's still open, but we'll see what happens on that. Jet Li has it 7 out of the last 8 weeks on that side of things, and he's making a little move here right now.
By the way,
on this board.
Shout out, of course, to everybody representing on the boards here, right? Like the man McLovin, sponsor of the week, and the Cash App King. And we have Skeptical Fan, who's, by the way, down to 42 points on the Stream Boss.
You see him there. And like I said, the champion of the board, the membership gifting champion is Jet Li 44 for the 7 out of the last 8 weeks. But as you saw right now on top, nobody this week on top of the board. So nobody up there on that gifting board. But we do have some other leaders, like currently still in first place, Trent M., Cowboy fan from Australia, repping the first place spot in the Cash App. And as our sponsor of the week, if he does win this, he gets in the weekly raffle for a jersey. I'm saying weekly. The monthly raffle of June for a jersey. So good luck to Trent M. He's currently in the lead. It's not a hard lead to catch right now. He's in first place as we speak for both boards there. So big shout outs there to everybody. And big shout out to Jet Li 44 taking Skeptical Fan to 42 points on the Stream Boss. Now we're at the end of this thing, guys. I promise you. My phone's about to die. My voice is about to die. When I go on the After Dark tonight, it's going to be short, and I ain't going to speak too much, I don't think, because I just can't. But
understandable, baby.
But I do want to bring up one last guy. Now, you see this guy here on our screen here, number 96?
Yes.
All right. Rogers has been on this on my radar from Auburn in the sense of as maybe the second guy behind. He may be able to get that backup spot to Mozzie Smith. But there is one surprise player we have on our team, an undrafted guy that has that can be the third guy on this team easily on the practice squad, but not even on the practice squad. He's going to be on our team no matter what, I think. We got a guy who made the team already. You might not know anything about this, baby. You guys out there don't know anything. I guarantee most of you guys don't know what I'm about to say. What's up, Brandon Wesley, James Hurd? The last thing of the night. Check this out. We're getting a surprise roster exemption for one of our players. An undrafted player that we signed after the draft. Rookie. His name is Denzel Daxon. Let me explain. Immediately after the NFL draft ended, the Cowboys signed rookie free agent Denzel Daxon. He's 6'2", 304 pounds. He plays nose tackle, defensive tackle, trying to add some interior size to the defensive line. And then we got him. He's going to be trying to fight for a spot. Probably was going to be practice squad at best. But guess what? The Cowboys got a little surprise over the weekend. Daxon did not start playing football until coming to the United States in 2016. He said, quote, this is what Denzel Daxon said, DD. Whatever you going to call him. So whatever makes you remember him.
Okay.
He said, quote, "Back in my home, we didn't have the opportunity to play football in the Bahamas. It was something I just always wanted to do, so I did it when I came to the States." He was born and raised in Nassau, the Bahamas.
Pretty cool.
And he officially now joins the NFL's 2024 expansion for qualifying international players. So he's replacing Isaac Alarcon.
Okay, I got you now.
So instead of Isaac Alarcon, who played offensive line for a bunch of years with us as an exemption international player, then went on defensive side for 1 year, was released because there was just no more exemptions left. He just was not good enough to cut it, which was, he gave it his best. We liked him, but he never was going to crack the starting lineup or crack the 53-man roster. Will someone like Denzel Daxon be able to do that? He'll have an opportunity now for 3 years to try to make this team in a real way. So similar to Isaac Alarcon, he was, of course, the offensive lineman from Mexico, spent 3 years on the Cowboys from the practice squad. And baby, right now he's currently still on the Niners 90-man roster right now. So good luck to Isaac Alarcon. But we have someone who's just replaced his exemption spot. Most teams, every team gets 90 players. Isaac Alarcon does not count as 91 anymore. So the Niners have him on their 90-man roster. He's not an exemption player. Once you go 3 years, it runs out.
Okay.
Which you know that. I mean, you have to cut him or you have to make the 90-man.
Yeah.
You have to make the team. You have to make that extra exemption spot.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, if you get 3 years, you don't get in there. And his fourth attempt, he failed, but he made it on the. Right now, he's currently on the Niners roster for Isaac Alarcon. Good luck to him. But we have that same situation now with Denzel Daxon as a rookie. 3 years we have him now to see if he can crack into the 53-man roster. But until then, he's on an exemption list for the Cowboys. The exemption spot. So, again, he will not count against the Cowboys' 90-man roster. Last week I had a little confusion. Like, why we have... Some players saying we have 88, 89...
Yeah, this was a happy little surprise.
Well, I didn't know how many... My point is that...
In the sense of being able to use that, international player exemption on him. That's what I'm trying to say about happy.
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that we didn't even have our full line. Like, we had 4 spots open, and I was wondering why. I was counting. I'm like, we have like maybe 2 or 3 spots open, but that's why. Late last week, before the weekend hit, Daxon officially qualifies as an international player now. So he will not count against the Cowboys' 90-man roster or 53-man roster or practice squad roster. So he's basically guaranteed himself a spot with the Cowboys, unless he's just horrible. He's guaranteed himself a spot with the Cowboys for probably the next 3 years. Now, he will be, if he doesn't, again, he's not going to make the 53-man roster, let's be honest. But if he makes the quote-unquote practice squad, the Cowboys, instead of a 16-man practice squad, will have a 17th spot, which is the international exemption. And that will be where he will be set as. Now, there'll be a lot of strict rules about him playing. He has to be he has to be off the exemption for 3 weeks before he can play, and he cannot go back on the exemption once you take him off the exemption. So, Cowboys going to probably just let him develop for 3 years there. That's the prognosis for him going forward. But since he qualifies as an international player, he would be the bonus 17th member of the 16-man practice squad under that exemption. It's a win-win for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's be real, right? Will McClay, again, said this, quote, this is what he said, Will McClay. Of course, we all know he's the vice president of player personnel. He said, quote, Daxon, he was officially on our roster as the 90 normal non-international guy before their scouting assistant, Kanye. Again, he's a scouting assistant. His name is Kanye Doyle Dirty. But he actually, scouting assistant came to him and he said he called us and he called it out and he brought it up to the NFL. So actually we got an extra spot because of a scouting assistant on our team realizing that Daxon qualifies, because he didn't start playing until 2016, as an international player exemption. So now this means the Cowboys are eligible to have 91 players on our roster during this offseason and throughout training camp. And of course, like I said, that it could be the 17th guy on our practice squad out of the 16 practice squad. So in the history of the Cowboys, they have only been a handful of international players. His name is Daxon, first name. He likes to be called Dax. So Dax is the first ever Bahamian-born player to end up on the Cowboys roster. In fact, there are only 4 other players historically from the Bahamas. Mike Stachkin, Devar Darling, Jocelyn Borgea, and Ed Smith. Now comes Daxon, a Cowboy headed to training camp this summer. And he did turn a few heads during the OTAs and the recent minicamp, playing the interior defensive line spot. Daxon said, quote, "It's truly been a blessing. I guess the first week I just locked in like I'm here. Let's make sure I stay in here." And now, guys, I'm saying this. Because of that international exemption, Dax has a chance to at least remain with the Cowboys for up to 3 years while developing on the practice squad. Again, unless he makes the 53-man roster, which is, of course, the ultimate goal of any rookie. And if he never makes the 53-man roster, no more exemption for him. He's now off the exemption list because he's actually a regular NFL player now with no special designation. So that's the little inside news there. We just gained a roster spot, thanks to one of our scouting assistants that realized this guy has not played football since 2016 from the Bahamas and qualifies as an international exemption player for the Dallas Cowboys. So just a little bonus, I guess some good news in an offseason that's been horrible for the Cowboys. So, that's the last 8 days of Cowboy news, info, and update. I know it took us 2.5 hours, but we told you guys we'd get you caught up on everything, and I think we did. I think we got everything caught up on things here.
Closer to 3 hours.
Hey, baby, it is what it is. We didn't go live for a week and a half.
Like I said, a very jam-packed MCF live stream tonight. So, and if you didn't catch it live, hopefully you can catch it there on the replay.
Yeah, probably on double speed.
And of course, we gave the shout-outs not that long ago, but once more, we have to shout out the people who helped make MCF happen here, like McLovin, your sponsor of the week, and Cash App King. Very big thanks to Skeptical Fan. Always staying skeptical with 42 points as a stream boss. Yeah, and second place overall on the board right now because got to give it up to the man. He's dropping the love throughout the week we were off here, guys, with COVID and a vacation. So big shout outs to you guys for keeping us afloat here while we've been, doing our thing. Little mini vacation with family that kind of was ruined because of COVID. But we still try to make the best of it. Still had some good fun times with them, but just a lot of things had to be cut down and cut out. But either way, we had some good times, and we appreciate you guys rolling back with us here. Holy shit. We got the man, Godless Manitoban, in the house. A big shout out to him. He actually kept us going, too. If you guys didn't know, in the After Dark set, I announced him earlier. He's on the board, but now he's really up on that board. Because he just dropped Canadian $50 holler in the house. Woo. Appreciate you, brother. And what did the man say on his drop, baby? I kind of see what he's saying. He said, "Credit for the other channel, por favor."
Oh, we got you, brother. We got you. I know what you. We're gonna got the party's gonna start after dark here very shortly. I hope my voice can handle it. So, Godless, you'll have to do some talking, I guess. I don't know because I'm gonna definitely be listening to music tonight. Maybe having a couple of drinks. You know how we do this. But you're credited, brother. I got you. I'll do the calculations later. I'll see what the Canadian to U.S. dollar ratio is or whatever it is, and we'll roll from there, brother. Appreciate you, Godless, big time. And look at that drop right there. Push the Skeptical Fan to 5 points on the stream, boss. After a 3-hour stream.
That's right.
Skeptical went from what? From like, I don't know, 60-something, 70-something to now 5 points on the stream, boss. That is not that far away from being taken. That is a $5 holler away from catching Mr. Skeptical. After keeping us afloat, him and Godless and a bunch of others. Thank you, guys. Big shout out to Godless Manitoban. And I will adjust the board as needed on the overall because I'm trying to do some calculations. He's probably going to be like top 5 on this board here on MyCowboysFamily. And over there, he's moving up the board quickly. And, of course, starting the party off right. So, big shout-outs. Big thank you. I see Jess in the house. Jay, baby. Much love to you. And We got you. We got you rolling, and appreciate all the love. McLovin, sponsor of the week. Also the Cash App King. Skeptical fan holding it down with 5 points on the stream boss. Big shout out to Jet Li with the $5 holler. Oh, wait, what? No, I'm sorry. I see. Oh.
Yeah, so actually it was a bit of a
what?
Weird. I think Jason Renfro took back his message there with his $5 holler but I do see Godless Manitoba.
Oh, there it is.
Also
okay.
dropping a $10 Canadian holler.
I'm completely confused.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if they kind of hit at the same time. Not sure, but thank you so much, Godless and Jason Renfro. But he said more credit. So
we got you, Godless, and I'll tally it up Canadian style. Give you the American dollars on that.
Hey,
and
how many poutines is that? JJ, baby. Thanks for popping in here and saying hello today. Just glad that you're here when you're able to be. So,
yes.
Worst nightmare, peace and love to you as well. Thanks for rolling with us.
Yes. I can't wait to hear your worst nightmare, Yawn, as I like to nickname him. We're going to be taking this over to the After Dark session. And I haven't posted the stream yet, but it's going to be a short one tonight. But I will be going live. I have some things to discuss with some of you guys out there with these dancing videos. You guys had to catch me up. I've been out of the loop. I just seen some things that I can never unsee again. If you know what I mean. Yeah, you guys probably seen it too. Funny, but you ain't getting me dancing. So that ain't never happening. But either way, guys, I do appreciate the love. I don't know if Jason's went through or not. Jet Li's. It says it went through, but then it doesn't say it was retracted. Either way, short stream says Stormy. Try our best. I don't think my voice can. You guys can run the Stormy. Will have to run the stream. Well, I just rest my voice. I don't know, but it's going to be a weird one today for sure. 3 hours catching up a whole 10 days of Cowboy news, info, and updates. Appreciate you guys rolling with us here.
Tall task, but baby, you were phenomenal tonight. Thank you so much for pushing through there. Let me do the final shout outs here in the chat.
Yes.
And we can go ahead and call it a night.
We know Godless has taken over the board, though. That can't be taken back. Godless is now the god of the stream boss. Appreciate him. Subscribe to him, too, if you haven't. I think he's live right now, if I'm not mistaken. I'll drop in the After Dark eyeballs. Maybe the link, too, so you guys can check it out. And the fun that goes down there sometimes goes a little crazy. Either way, make sure you join us for the After Dark session for however short it is. Again, big shout out to McLovin, sponsor of the week, Cash App King, Godless Manitoban now, the stream boss, and Jetly44. 7 out of the last 8 weeks has been our membership gifting champion. So big shout out to him. This week, nobody's on the gifting board right now, so that's wide open. When it comes to the current Cash App leader and the overall sponsor of the week, it could be different people, but it's not. It's the same person. Currently, it is Trent M. Definitely Trent M on the Cash App side. But I think maybe on the overall board, it might be Godless Manitoban. He might be getting a free raffle entry in our monthly jersey raffle. We'll see. We still got Saturday and Sunday. We shall see. Remember, guys, everything that goes down, on the After Dark sessions is for the jerseys. I'm sorry. Everything that goes down on the After Dark session is not for the jersey raffle. Only what goes down in here is for the jersey raffle. So I got it all figured out. And even though Trent M is in the lead, he's done that on the After Dark session. Godless did it here. So he's actually eligible for that weekly winner. But again, still up in the air. Anyone can win it with just one drop. And we close it out Sunday night here on MCF to see who gets that 2-week championship. All right? So, baby, do your thing so I can rest my voice for the After Dark sessions.
Let me see. Jetly44. Take it easy. Have a great night. Hopefully see you shortly here. Stormy, of course, representing. Demetrius Alexander, hello and hi. And yes, at least you caught the end. But the good thing is, you can always catch the replay as well. So,
I advise you put it on double speed.
Good luck hearing Mr. Chipmunk MCF. We have your worst nightmare. Take it easy. By the way, actually, shout out to the man Jet Li, who just gifted a membership to get himself up on the board, continuing his streak. But also, your worst nightmare. Congrats to you.
Hey, yawn. Hits that. Much love to Mr. Jet Li 44, who, yes, officially, I think he just jumped over somebody else. I think so. I'll have to double check that, but definitely in first place, trying to go 8 out of 9 weeks as the gifting membership champion. He's in the lead with 2 days to go, 2 nights to go. Much love, Jason Ren. I'm going to call him by his original. Jason Renfro, Jetly44. Much love to him.
Speaking of Jetly44, Juan Carlos, JJ Baby, thanks for being here tonight. We have...
Yeah, Jazz in the house.
Let me see. Who else? Burn Bar, of course. Brandon Wesley. James Herr. Asmodeus representing. Even you, Leaside Harold. Let me see. John Syme, much love. Cleveland Brown. Take it easy. Have a great night. Let me see. That's actually as far back as it lets me go, at least on my side. So, MCF After Dark. I wonder who that is. And yes, an extra late regular MCF stream. So, like you said,
we had a whole week and a half out of here, COVID and vacation. We're getting out of we did the vacation. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as we hoped, and we're getting over the COVID, which we're not unfortunately over yet. But we're close. We're close. There it is. I got you guys on there. You see the MCF After Dark link. I will delete that at the end of this stream. So make sure you jump on there and at least subscribe and make sure you put on the notification bell. You see Stormy in the house. She helps run that thing. So can't do that without her. Thank you, all you guys that are from the After Dark session jumping in here, dropping the love, the support, the comments. And we'll see you over there. So I can get caught up on the anything but the Cowboys info, news, and updates. I need the other news, updates, and info from you guys on what the hell's going on out there in the YouTube world that we all kind of interlock in here and interweave in. So anyways, is that everybody? Is that the
yes,
roll
it is,
call?
at least on my side,
All right, so we're good to go, guys. Appreciate you all. We'll talk more about this and the Cowboys and probably 2 Cowboy Quickies. Probably on Saturday, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. We'll do 2 Cowboy Quickies and wrap up the week, crown some champions, and hopefully we make a move. And we signed, CeeDee Lamb, although it sounds like Dak's the priority. We'll see what happens. Either way, thank you all for joining us on this extra long one. I love that little box up there representing the stream boss, that godless Manitoban representing it there. So on that note, though, guys, thank you truly, humbly, from the bottom of our hearts. Waiting for us to get back in the motion here. I know it's very late, so there's not many people on the night, but we'll try to start up a little earlier tomorrow, and we won't be going live till 4 a.m. So on that note, guys, let me throw it over to the wife so she can tell you guys why we try to do this. We haven't done it for about 8 days. But why we try to do this each and every night on My Cowboys Family? What do we do this for, baby?
Well, it's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, here on MCF, we always rep that star over everything. And of course, baby, we're only like 10 days away. Actually, we're like 8 days away. We're almost a little over a week away from a full 7 motherfucking years on YouTube. Yes, to the good, bad, and ugly. Ups and downs and all arounds. We're about a little over a week away from 7 years on YouTube from here on My Cowboys Family. I can't believe it. We're almost at 38,000 subscribers, a.k.a. family members. So can't do this without you all. Thank you all. Whether you watch these, rewatch these, or do the shorts things, or whatever it is. It's a whole group thing. We appreciate you guys. And, hey, we love our Cowboys till death do us part. On that note, my lovely wife, as you all know, almost 7 years here on YouTube. Never forget the number one thing here on My Cowboys Family. The number one thing here now and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. 6th Super Bowl. We have 5, but that was in 95. We still had 5. What happened the last 30 years, Cowboys? Come on. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you all. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, Stormy, Scorpio, Luis Ortiz, Jet Lee, Dimitri, everybody. Thank you all for the support, the love, and all that. We'll see you all in the After Dark session. We can't do this without your drops of knowledge in the chat all night long. All night. And, of course, the drops of love from above. Big shout-outs to those that did drop the love today. Skeptical fan the whole damn week, man, with the thanks drops. Calvin Richard kicking it off live on here. Jet Lee 44 in the house, moving up this board. Of course, Godless doing his thing. Jet Lee also giving a membership gifting one there, but Godless Manitoban Thank you. And all you guys in here dropping in. Cannot do this without your love and support here and on the After Dark sessions. Now, on that note, baby, before we can officially clock out and drop out of this channel for the night, relock and reload over on the After Dark sessions, and of course, probably a Cowboy Quickie tomorrow. I don't really see much news happening, so we'll probably jump on half hour, maybe a Q&A or something quicker. It will not be a stream like tonight, so keep that in mind. But we will see you guys soon. Much love to all. But baby, before we can drop out of here for the night, let everybody know what we got to do before we officially, on this channel, say goodnight and drop out of here.
We got to drop the beat.
That beat's been dropped. Thank you all again here. I'm going to make it quick because I'll lose my voice. Thank you for joining us for all the news, updates, and info for another daily wrap-up of our Dallas Cowboys on a Cowboys chat here in MCF. And I say daily, it was like 8 days in a row there. A little over a week wrap-up of our Dallas Cowboys on a Cowboys chat right here on MCF. Guys, where it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here, my Cowboys family. You guys. Can't do this without you guys. That's the reason. I was going to say something else, didn't you? Again, one last time, don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. Hit subscribe to the channel if you're new. Keep it growing. Don't forget that notification bell on to all videos. Make sure you move it to on for all videos. And if you don't know yet when we're going to go live, you could always, we have to delay it sometimes. You can jump on Discord, on our MCF Discord. The information is in the description down below. You could also follow us on all social media, specifically Twitter, X, at MyCowboysFamily. And again, if you're watching this in a replay on double or triple speed, whatever speed you're going to need to on this long stream, don't forget to leave a comment down below as well. Thank you all again. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace. We'll see you on MCF After Dark. And outside of that, never ever forget, Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.